Right.
There we go. Okay, yeah.
Printed out.
Right, right. Where we're going next.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Calling to order the joint Board of Finance, Board of Selectmen meeting. It's Tuesday, January 20th, 6:04 PM. Public comments? Seeing none. First item on the agenda, and we have Sean. The aerial apparatus, new fire truck presentation.
Sure,
Or
so-
we're just gonna, is he gonna present again, or?
I think everybody's seen the presentation at this.
Yeah.
Is there anything new?
The truck did come down today. It's actually at the firehouse right now at 4:30, got here, so we've been going through it. It's been up in the air. The guys are all using it right now. We're playing with everything, so far it's working perfect.
How much
Not an
training is
issue,
there
so-
in terms of utilization, Sean?
I'm sorry?
How much training is there for our guys? How
For
different
it,
is it
so
from what you're doing?
This isn't gonna be, even though let's say we vote on it tonight, it's not like we're gonna put it in service tomorrow or next week. It's probably gonna take a month to do some changes on the truck, which they have to do, meaning relabel it, letter it. There's some other things that they have to do to it. And then the training end of it would probably happen, I would say, in the next 4 to 6 weeks. And then once we do that, we'll be able to put it in service. And hopefully by that time, we'll be mounting equipment and everything also in that time period. So it's not like something that's gonna go right into service tomorrow. It's probably gonna be about a good month and a half, 2 months before it ends up being in service.
So far, so good.
So far, so
Everything's
great.
checking out. It's really
Yep,
works.
we're using it in the back of the firehouse. It's going up. Everything's working perfectly. No issues so far, so.
For purposes of anyone who may have not watched the presentation, could you just give a synopsis as to what this is, what we are doing and why?
Yeah, so if we just go back, hang on 1 second. So this is basically the truck that you're seeing up on the screen here. It's a 2024, 2025 T-Rex. This was, this is like we talked about, this is a new used truck. So the department that had it, the city that had it, they are changing the way they do things. So this truck never actually went into service. They're gonna be purchasing a new truck. They don't want this truck anymore, as we've talked about, and the reasons why. So this truck retails, if we went out today to buy this specific truck, probably be in the $2.5, $2.6 million range. We're getting it for they've offered to sell it to us for 1.9 million, which is a huge savings. It does come with the full warranty. I know that was a question that came up last week, so everybody should have received the warranty information. And the good thing about this is we don't have to wait 4 years. This truck is readily available, and our other truck is out getting fixed right now, which is getting extremely costly, so we're trying to limit what we have to do to it. But this would be a good addition and a good addition to the town, based on the presentation and how the town has grown over the years. So, if you guys want me to review anything with you or go over anything, I'd be more than happy to, or if you guys have questions, I'll try to do my best to answer them.
And Tony, can you quickly just take us through what we need to do in order to move forward with something like this? What's
So-
necessary here?
The first item that you would have to do is waive the bid process because this is a specialty sort of situation, sort of and that's one of the exceptions on our bid ordinance, specialty items, or where there is a special source, which I believe this qualifies. And then you have to recommend the financing for it. And in this case, lease financing is the preferred method.
Mhm.
And then enter into a lease purchase agreement. Because we don't have the specifics. Usually when we do this, it's usually after It's usually after a long process. So we'll have the exact specifications, the exact vendor, who the lease is going to go through, the rate, the amount, all that. Because this is a tight timeline and turnaround, we'll have to do that, and I would imagine give authorization for us to enter into it, or for you to enter into it, actually. Unless you want to have a special meeting to review all the details.
I don't understand that. Are you saying that
Usually,
terms might vary?
no, your rate will vary, because it's at a certain point in time, and so it's going to be very similar to this, but, and I have to go out I'll go out to a bid for it, so I'll go to 4 or 5 different qualified banks and institutions. So this was just from one bank, just to get an idea of where the rates are. So I'm sure it'll be different than that, hopefully lower. But I don't know exactly what, usually I go through the process and then they'll lock it in for 2 weeks or whatever it is, and then.
Similar to the process that we do for when we do Oriole pricing and
Right,
things of
right,
that nature.
right.
We're authorized, you authorize the first selectman and the board and the finance director to make the decision based on what we get back from a bidding standpoint. Yes?
Just a few questions, and also something for the record. First, 1.9 million is the most, even when we put, that will cover all of the changes you want to make to
Yeah,
the
so
trucks.
1.1,
I just wanna be
correct,
sure.
yep, 1.9
No
million,
additional
it's not
cost.
gonna exceed 1.9 million. The idea is, when we get the other truck back from service, we're gonna turn around and sell it, and the money we get from that truck, we would purchase the equipment with. So we're not gonna exceed 1.9 million, so we're not gonna come back in a month and say we need $25,000 or $30,000 for equipment for this truck.
Okay.
Or putting the equipment on it,
Correct.
outfitting it.
But can I
Correct.
just finish my question? So, number 2, do you have a place for both trucks until you sell the old truck?
Yeah, so like I said, we're not gonna take the other truck in. We're not gonna get the new truck right away. It's gonna be
Okay.
up at the dealer doing all the work probably for a month or so.
Do you think you'll be able to switch out
Yeah, we'll.
seamlessly?
Yep.
So, and then the third question is just about if Tony could describe under these options, how that fits into the cadence of other expenditures for the fire department, for its,
So the fire department has a truck that's being paid off this year, and then they also have a truck, I have it right here, actually.
It's being paid off.
Want the cat?
Yeah.
Right here. But it's amped right here.
I'll put my glasses on. It's actually, you can follow it in the capital plan, but,
Printing it out and writing it's like tiny.
I'm asking because I think it's a factor in choosing which terms we go for.
so there's a payment that, we also pay off air packs and radio communications upgrade 2028, and then there's another truck, engine 9, that gets paid off in 2029.
But there's more trucks coming down the pike that
Right,
you
we have
want
the
to
pumper
replace as
truck
well.
that We'll probably be discussing soon, right?
That's gonna, yeah, we're gonna
But
be
that would be out 4
discussing
years.
next Thursday.
But
So-
that would take, what, 3 years?
That truck would take at least, well, if we were to order an engine now, we're 3 years out and the payment's usually in the rear, so we wouldn't be paying it for 4 years.
Right.
So,
So by then, they would have a few things off.
actually, I don't know if, no signal.
Could I ask it just Tony while he's trying to get this in? Can you just in case folks didn't watch previous things, just explain what the finance director told you from Easton, Mass when you called them?
That the, basically confirmed what we were discussing, that the truck was borrowed by Easton, and they, for a number of reasons, had to give back the truck, a number of operational reasons, and so they're looking to sell it and to buy a different truck.
And they recognize that they're taking a haircut.
They recognize it, she used that exact word, a haircut,
Yeah,
yeah, on the truck, and they recognize that.
okay. So it's an unusual circumstance.
Right,
Thank you.
right.
I do have an outline on the trucks, when they would be coming up, just the actual trucks themselves, if I can. Go and unplug this and plug it back in.
And while we're waiting again for the audience, because Sean, thank you for giving us the heads up on that, and Senator Hawley.
Yeah, so if you guys got a chance to watch it, it's really interesting, and Blumenthal was on today, I missed it, but he was talking about the challenges with the cost of apparatus and the long lead times that everybody's experiencing.
Sean, are you experiencing what they were talking about in terms of getting parts and stuff?
Yeah, so different parts are taking a long time, depends on what it is, but the cost of parts has increased dramatically over the last couple of years, where we're paying like 50% more for something than what we were 3 years ago. So it's considerable across the board.
I was just to say, I was also sort of unpleasantly surprised by the notion that says your old truck goes in for maintenance and you don't know how long it's going to take for them to get the parts, so how long the truck's going to be out of service.
Right.
So again, thanks again for finding
So like,
this.
I'll tell you right now, like the current truck we have, they took the parts off that they need to go get done and rebuilt, but they didn't have space to leave it there, so the other truck's back actually at the firehouse until the parts come in. So we're hoping 2 weeks and the truck is back, but there's no guarantee. So I could talk about it if you want a little bit, so.
Can Karen, like, print it out and make hard copies for us or something?
What is it we're looking for?
It's that spreadsheet that we showed the Board of Finance last week. I don't know if you guys have it.
To help make a decision whether how many
Yeah,
years you go
what I
out,
was
because to the extent you want to have a more or less even hit on the budget from truck
not-
No,
rentals.
It was a spreadsheet that's sort of laid out.
With the interest.
Can you email it to her?
well, I thought what Amy was asking for was the list of the trucks and when they were
Print
going
out
to
the
come in.
apparatus.
Which Sean has also with potential costs.
Right,
so
right.
Down at the bottom, so that you can sort of see how many years out and making it. I don't know what the Board of Finance saw, and whether you all already have a recommendation for.
We do not.
For how many years out you
We have not
borrow.
discussed.
I mean, you want the
For
cheapest rate
lease.
regardless of what you do.
Tony, do you need that information today in terms of, doing a bid waiver request and a recommendation for
So
authorization?
either that, or you have to meet, like, when I get the bids back.
Because I think what we're talking about, right, is whether we're doing 5 or 7 or 10 years.
Sean wants to know that you're
Right.
going forward
So
with
we
this, so
need
you
to,
can tell
we need to
the,
No,
let.
that I
we
know,
need to let them-
but do we need to know which interest we're doing at this point?
Whether it's 5 or 7 years.
I thought it was this 5 or 7 years is.
yeah, I would say 5 or 7. And it's just a matter of, if you do 5, it's gonna impact your budget more on a cash flow basis early, this year, next year, the next 5 years, because it's more per year. So the question is it worth paying a little more in interest to spread out the payments?
Do you want to pull that? I don't even know if,
But at
Sean,
the
what
same
is your
time, there may be
timeline now?
another
When do we
truck
have to
you
get
need to
back
start
to them,
paying
and
for.
when do we have to?
we have to let them know, I told them we'd let them know this week, the latest. So we have the rate. Do you have the rates in front of you? I had it up on the screen. I could pull it back
Yeah, that
up
was
on my
that was
computer.
what Karen was showing there, yes.
Right.
And that's in everybody's that's in the presentation, so you can go to your shared drive, if you want to just pull up that page, you can see what the numbers are there, that hasn't changed.
Right.
Those are the numbers we used as examples.
Correct.
And that's what Tony was referring to. It also shows that the truck that came off lease is $175,000. This under 10 years was $235,000, and if I remember it,
Right.
somewhat higher under.
My understanding is we have to present a 6-year capital budget. I'm just trying to understand
That makes sense.
what else is coming down the pike and how that would influence the cadence.
But I guess in the interest of timing of all this, I think it's the Board of Finance that has to sort of make the final decision, and I suppose we can say, Tony and Mika, pick the best option for 5 or 7 years to balance out that cadence, rather than come back at a special meeting and potentially lose the truck.
The,
Or we just say 7 years and go with it.
I think we're able, wasn't it just said that we're able to agree to move forward or not, and then when we have the actual terms, figure that out?
Could do that.
So Sean would be able to convey and get back
If
to Easton regardless after tonight, is
You
my
waive the bid,
understanding.
yeah, waive the bid process to
Yeah.
purchase the truck,
Yeah.
but not determine the financing until I get the bids back. You can do that.
And when would you anticipate getting the bids back?
Probably, if I send them out this week, I'll try to get it, I'm not sure, maybe by I'll try to get them by next Thursday's meeting, if I can get a quick turnaround, by, the last budget meeting.
Okay, I mean,
And then
we'll
you
all
could
be
just do
here.
it then.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was trying to say that's
Yeah.
what I'll say.
Yeah.
Like, we can
Is that
do this work.
enough
So,
to go forward?
Well, we could do,
Do it that
we could vote to move forward with
Correct.
the truck.
Correct.
It's just a
This is
matter
just
of
the
us
ho-
trying to
the
figure
per-
out
the
whether we want
financing
5
part.
Right.
5-year, 7-year.
Yeah, I can do that. It usually takes like 2 or 3 days for them to get back to me, so if I do it tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Monday or Tuesday, I should get them back.
So what's the form of the motion, a bid waiver and an agreement to purchase the truck?
I'd like the Board of Selectmen should make the motion first, and I'd like to ask for a motion for a bid waiver, specifically due to this being an extenuating circumstance with a very specific type of a provider in terms of having to, in order to secure what we're looking for, we'd have to work this through as a bid waiver. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
second.
And can I just specify, and this is for a 100-foot truck, I mean,
What,
whatever the details are, it's a
Yeah,
bid
it's a-
waiver for X.
The motion is to waive the bid process for the aerial fire apparatus
where did-
purchase as
Wait,
described in our.
Karen's the one who's taking the motion, so I'm sure she's gonna wanna hear
I
it.
just want to,
So-
we all know what we're talking about, but minutes should reflect that.
Aaron, we're making motions.
Motion will be for model 2024, 2025 Rosenbauer 115 T-Rex aerial. And this would be to waive the waive the bid process for this vehicle in an effort to secure it at a much more attractive rate and at obviously in a sooner timeframe. Do I have a motion? That was Steve, that was Maria, and that's the motion specifically for that vehicle. Is there any additional discussion?
Could I just say one thing? I know.
Do you want to?
Well, no, you want to say in your motion not to exceed 1.9 million?
I would appreciate that. Sean.
That's
Thank you
actually a
very
good
much.
suggestion. Thank you, Sean.
Sorry.
And the cost of
Just so
the
there's
cost
no
of this
questions.
apparatus should not
Sorry.
exceed $1.9 million. And the intent further is to, any additional equipment that might be required will be secured through the sale of the current ladder truck that we have. Do I have a motion? We have a motion, we have a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. This is just the Board of Selectmen. Motion carries unanimous from the Board of Selectmen. The next item on the agenda is specifically for a recommendation and authorization for us to identify the financing and once identified, we will alert the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance.
Well, if we do it next Thursday, everyone will be here.
Yeah.
You could just wait till then,
Tuesday or Thursday?
Thursday.
Next Thursday, so that would be the
29.
29th. Okay,
So at this point, we don't need to act on that.
Right,
is there?
correct, yeah. Let's say you don't have to act.
So now the Board of Finance would just need to vote.
All right, so
Do they-
Board of-
Do we need to
I
vote?
don't know if we need
Do
to.
you? No?
No, you have to
No,
wait till
Right.
We have to wait to
You
see
can wait
the,
till next week.
because we have to approve the financing or whatever, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
But they don't approve the construction of the 1.9 million?
I think you would need a motion like that, and then you would do a motion to secure the rate, just so we can move forward.
I mean,
Okay,
it's,
good.
you're agreeing to the purchase, the question is, the details are the terms, but
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve, the price of the truck not to exceed 1.9 million.
Second. Anything else we need in that motion?
Do we have to put in that motion financing to be determined at as soon as possible? Just so we know.
Yeah, finance to be done as soon as possible. So we have a second.
Beth, second?
Beth, second. No discussion, right?
No discussion, Pat? All right.
Done.
Thank you.
Thank you,
you.
Sean.
How long is the truck here for?
It goes back tonight. So,
Cruise by as soon as we can.
I know.
Make
So
this
Karen-
as fast
if you
as
guys
possible.
want, you guys, I can bring it over here. It's a big
We
thing.
need to, just to be clear, we need to basically secure, right now, we've identified that we will move forward with the truck based on the $1.9 million. And at this point in time, we need to identify very specifically what the financing will be. And at that time, once we have that information, at one of our joint meetings, we will just,
Yeah, so what we can do is
Confirm.
I can work with Tony and get a contract together to get over
Yeah.
to Tony.
Right.
And then that process can move forward, and then all you would have to do is figure the
The
financing
financing
you want
part, right.
next week and
Yeah.
yep,
vote on it, and that's it.
just to make
Right.
sure everybody's clear where we are.
So the purchase, just like the financing, is what is the non-appropriated
Non-appropriations funds, right.
Yes, it will
You've
include-
got the
has to include
clause,
it.
yeah.
The lease has to include that.
Right, but also in making the bid offer and saying
No,
the seller will understand that.
So the
the
seller.
seller doesn't.
The
it
seller
would be
doesn't care.
It would be the,
It's because what happens
The
is.
financing.
Once we sign the lease papers, the bank will send the 1.9 million to the dealer. They're out of the picture. Then, if if it doesn't get appropriated in the budget, it's the bank that forecloses on the lease, or whatever the term is, cancels the lease, and will most likely take the truck.
But our action tonight doesn't require us to buy it if the town hall, because what we have left to do is just figure out where we're gonna get the money in
Right.
terms of the lease.
Right.
But getting the money is also dependent on the public agreeing at the annual town meeting. So I'm just trying to understand the terms that go back to in buying the truck is with the understanding that it has to be subject to a lease that has this non-appropriation
The way-
clause.
the way it works is, so we would buy the truck through whatever the institution is that we're gonna finance through. If the town decides to bang, like you're saying, and they don't approve of that funding, then the bank would repo the truck.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure that the
Correct.
person who's selling the truck understands that we have to obtain financing and it will have this clause. in it.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
Yes,
That's
yes,
That's what I'm
yes,
trying to make
I'm
clear.
sorry.
We're
Yeah.
not saying somehow or another, we're gonna get you 1.9 million, and
Yes.
how we get it is up to us. We're saying, subject to these terms.
Correct.
Great, okay, thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
Just to be clear,
Like
in
buying
this
a house for needing
process,
Yeah.
is this a full financing, or is there a down payment? or
There's
is
no
it-
down payment in
It's a
this
full
process.
straight
Yeah, 100% financed.
Okay. Thanks.
There was a point where the thought was we may need a deposit in order to keep it. So far, we've been moving quickly enough so that the seller seems to be satisfied with us, with what we're doing.
Okay.
Next item on the agenda, we're gonna have a presentation of operating capital budgets, building maintenance. Do me a favor, can you state name and title for,
Brad Parsons, I'm the building maintenance foreman
So
for the town of Woodbridge.
So before Brad gets into his budget, I just want to bring a few things to your attention. Under the PDF file folder that you have, there are a couple of things I want to bring to your attention. The first is the mill rate calculation sheet, and I think it's always good to review that. And it says mill rate calculation. It looks like this. And basically what it says is that the expenditures that you have presented requests are 6.79% increase. So I just wanted to,
And that's without the fire truck.
correct, well,
This is operating.
it's correct, that's without the fire truck.
Yeah.
Right. So, I just want to bring that to your attention,
6.7.
and it has all of the departments and the percentage for each department. I also want to bring to your attention the very last one that says capital and non-recurring. That's the capital budget. In there is, in that folder is a your traditional summary that you've seen each year that summarizes all of the capital requests in one document, so it's easy to review, and easy to see. This is capital budget summary, and that's in that folder. There's a full-time employee roster of all our full-time employees. And there's also a capital budget summary. It's in two places. There's also one called capital budget summary, which is the same thing. It's got the capital budget summary in there. That's in two places. And finally, there's an expenditures by major category. And I like to present that so you can see the expenditures by each category in the budget in this particular sheet that is uploaded. It has it town departments, Amity Board of Education, Woodbridge Board of Education, and capital budget and debt service. And I keep track of those as we go through the budget. Okay.
And are
Thanks,
we
Tony.
able to put any of that up for the public or no? No.
I could
Matt,
certainly,
how are we doing on this?
We are having a connection with, there's something, one of our connections is acting up. We are not able to fix it right now.
Okay.
okay. I could,
So, building.
if it gets fixed, I can certainly put it from mine.
Do you want the cheat sheet? Those are numbers.
Okay. You're off.
So that was 13.
We're all
Brett?
set?
Yep.
I just wanted to hand out two documents before we get started. That relate to the operating budget.
Thank you.
And this document is even more important.
Can I help you?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay.
This is general professional service. Do they have delayed repairs and maintenance?
This we don't have.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah,
sir.
hand that one out, yeah. The different professional services we have, not this.
Nice to see you. Tony,
Thank you for that.
Mika. Alan,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Steve.
Oh,
Brand new. Lauren.
Thank you.
You don't have this.
yeah. You're not working on mine.
Mike Bowman does not have this. And we do not have that.
Oh, this is what we call for that.
That's, professional services.
Yeah.
So I guess we should get started in, obviously, my full-time roster. I was asked by Tony, do I have any staff that I could possibly eliminate or reduce hours? I have a limited staff. We have two technicians. I am one of them. We have another full-time technician. We only have one night custodian and one day custodian for our town buildings. Public Works has a part-time custodian that works 15 hours a week.
Wait,
It's
can
been the
we-
same for a very long
There's too
time.
much
Let's hold
chatter.
on.
Hang
Yeah.
hang on a second.
Hang
Can
on,
we
Brett.
resolve what is necessary?
Thank you, sir.
Sorry, Brad.
That's all right.
Go ahead, Brett.
Make sure everybody's paying
Okay.
attention.
Absolutely. Two part-time custodians, one for Public Works at 15 hours a week, and a police department custodian for Saturday and Sunday, who works 8 hours a week. That is my entire staff. In 2013, we got rid of Joe Adalizzi. For those of you who don't remember Joe Adalizzi, he was the foreman for the department, which took care of contractors, paperwork. He did the budget. Now that's my responsibility. I'm considered a working foreman. We had a part-time custodian for the police department alone, worked nights. He worked 5 hours a night, 5 days a week. That position has long been eliminated. So we have bare bones staff, and pretty soon we'll be inheriting another building, which would be the community center. There's nothing in my department a request for an additional custodian for that. We'll see what we can do and see how it works out for a year. If it becomes overwhelming, then I'll maybe suggest a part-time custodian. But we'll wait and see. I don't see any reason to spend money on that currently. You'll also see a full-time, in regular all others, an increase of 4.55%. Pending is an increase that I've asked for the night custodian, which still has to go to the personnel board. So that's pending.
So that's not included in the 4.5%?
That is included in the four.
It is included?
It is included.
Okay, thank you.
But it hasn't reached the personnel board. I understand the personnel board is new.
Personnel committee, yes, and
Yeah.
we're gonna hopefully get something scheduled on that.
And that's it for all regular, all other. Part-time is the 2 part-time custodians. That's what the wages are for there. You'll see 2.5%, which is the increase we're expecting to get next fiscal year. Overtime regular, you'll see a 19.46% increase. I would say that directly relates to a lot of repairs that I've been doing after hours and nights, and I'd like to sort of hold off on that until we get to repair and maintenance to building. That's, overtime is directly related to repair and maintenance to building. It also has a lot to do with the staffing that I have to provide for Earth Day, Woodbridge Like Me Day, any dinner functions you have at night or on the weekends, Woodbridge Fathers Baseball League, anything that comes up after normal working hours at night, staying late, requires overtime. Mark, my night custodian, your meetings, not this particular one, sometimes run late. He stays an hour and a half. He has to clean that up. Earth Day requires 5 individuals to cover the entire Earth Day program that we have on a weekend. Anything related to out of ordinary hours, I have to cover out of building maintenance. It's never spent, I just don't haphazardly bring people in to do things that I would normally do during the day. It's required. I use it, sparingly. And as of late, this winter, I've been here a lot. I don't think I've had a full weekend off in 6 weeks. So that tells you I'm here day and night. I had to call in a technician, just so you know, last night for the police department. Heating problem. Dispatch calls me. They say I've got a big loud noise coming out of the boiler room behind the door. Well, building maintenance technician is not cheap. I can't let that slide, so I call a technician. He comes in. If he's unavailable, I come in. Depending upon the repair, it might require 2 people. And I'm smart. I'll call the custodian in. He can help out. It's cheaper than I am. And you'll see the increase of 19.46%. I am constantly over budget, year after year after year, in overtime. Always over budget. Never fails. No matter what I do to fix buildings, I'm over budget. So that leads me to my next line. I could skip buyback sick, is contractual, uniform allowance, general professional services. I think you have that document in front of you.
We do.
That's exactly what I spend currently for professional services that I have to do year after year after year. That's my current cost. So I believe it was 50, I have to look at the
60,000.
60,000, but my budget for that has historically been, I believe here, professional services, I put $50,000 in it.
51 done, so, yeah.
Well, $50,798.
Yeah, but you're projecting to go to 56,000.
56,000.
Yeah.
What you see in front of you is exactly what I pay. That doesn't have anything to do with next year's professional service, new fiscal year, but I'm very hard on my contractors that do professional work in town. I don't allow increases.
That's what I was gonna ask. So
I don't allow
so
increases.
You're not anticipating an increase for next year?
Very
for
little.
Services?
I run the department this way. If you intend to give me a big increase in professional service, I'll just find somebody else. It's as simple as that. That's how it goes. There are plenty of sprinkler people out there. There are a lot of people that do elevators. If you can't hold that price year after year after year, and you want my business, then leave the price alone. And 95% of the contractors do. They're all good contractors and they're all reliable. Very rare, even in an elevator contract, for $10,000, I see an increase. He's held that price for years for all our elevators, and we don't skip on the service.
Brad, one question on professional services. You don't anticipate anything from the new community center?
Not for at least
For
the
fiscal
first
year?
year. Everything
Okay,
should be
'cause
under
everything-
warranty.
Right, okay.
Should
But
be.
over time, we would anticipate those
Over
start to
time,
be
the air
some-
handlers, it's a good idea to get service
Well, even like the
contractors.
fire alarm inspection you've got here, you know, I don't know whether that's an annual thing for buildings.
I think it's appropriate to, that's why I have a repair and maintenance budget. I think it's appropriate to see how it all flushes out, at least for the first year,
Okay,
to get a grip, allow me to shop around, to get the best prices for the service contracts that I will need for that building. It works the same way as a custodian. I'll try our custodians, have the day custodian go over in the day, in the morning, give it a quick clean, and maybe Mark, the night custodian, can go over at night and pick up where the day custodian left off. But at least wait a year.
okay.
I think that's a smart thing to do.
What drove the increase in the projection this year versus your budget on these,
Professional services,
on the professional services?
the requests to come in with zero budget increases, year after year after year. So many requests. You get a memo from the finance department says, we'd like to see a zero budget increase.
Right. So these are price increases?
Well, I got to a point in the building maintenance department where I just can't survive on a zero budget increase in my department. We're so far behind, and if you allow me to explain the other line items in the
Yeah.
department, you'll see my reasoning to raise the entire department's budget. So zero budget, last year was a zero budget, the year before was a zero budget. I try to adhere to that the best I can, but it's just not working out. And you get into repair and maintenance the vehicle, you'll see an increase in that line. I will need new tires for the truck. I have a 2024 pickup truck. It's a dual roll truck. I use it for building maintenance, but I also plow in the wintertime for public works, which puts an undue burden and strain on the truck and especially the tires. I'm carrying in excess of 1,200 pounds on the front of that tire with a plow setup, which tends to wear the tires down extremely fast, much faster than a standard pickup truck driving back and forth to work. Say a portion of the drive is on the Merritt Parkway. It's much easier on the truck. I'm responsible for every town parking lot in town, including Beecher Road School and animal control. And I might visit those sites during a storm at least a dozen times, back and forth with a heavy weight on the front of a truck. Doesn't come with Michelin's with a 40,000 mile rating for a tire. It comes with standard generic truck tires, which are plowing, normally last about 2 years. So October, I will need new tires. They're not top of the line tires. Being able to drive the truck, and I also have the plow on the front of the truck. All the plows at Public Works, that nobody's probably noticed here, is a big yellow Fisher plow. On all those Fisher yellow plows down there, there's a foil in front. That foil is very important. Occasionally, I'll be called by the individual sitting behind me, my relation, and he will say, I have a driver down, I need you to go to this route and start plowing. Well, driving down a road, the snow has a tendency to go over the top of the plow because I don't have that foil, and I'm instantly blinded in 5 minutes and have to stop in the middle of the road. Immediately. Turn the wipers on high, make sure the defroster's on high to clear the snow off. And I'll get another 1,000 feet. Same thing keeps reoccurring. I thought I could muscle through it the first year of snow plowing. I started this year. It's something I can no longer tolerate.
Thank you, Brad.
I have to see where I'm
Where-
going.
Where you going next?
That is vehicle repair and maintenance to building. I gave you a document that said delayed repairs and maintenance. All those items on the list, because I don't have enough funds in my budget, require attention. Some more critical than others. Any one of these items, you could ask me a question on, but I'm responsible for every item on that list to at some point either repair the damaged part or the failed part, or buy it myself and repair it myself. That's the second option. You need to understand that in repair and maintenance to building, years ago, we had a supply closet. This is very important. And that supply closet was always full with critical repair items. Always full. Anything from a toilet seat to a faucet, to a paper towel dispenser, to a circulator pump, you name it, we had $10,000 worth of parts in there. That closet is empty. I don't have a single spare part to do a thing. So, if the library loses their hot water circulator pump for heating, that's $4,500, maybe $5,000 circulator pump. You will wait weeks for that pump. If it happens tonight, I'm afraid I'll have to tell you that I don't have a pump available to change it. And you have to wait. Distributors no longer carry expensive parts on the shelves. It's not a cost-effective idea for the distributor. I go to the parts store, I pick out what I want, and he gives me the bad news that that part is unavailable, no matter what I do. That's why I increased repair and maintenance to building. This list is just overwhelming. I'm responsible for everything in the town, from the public works exhaust fan to the transfer station compactor number 7 needs switches. I just spent $3,500 in the library to repair an air handler that I don't have the funds for. I just did that. I just bought a $2,000 bearing assembly for the PD heat. I had no heat in the PD, no spare parts, and I lost the circulator pump at this time of year. So what happened was this side, I should say the west side of the PD, was fairly warm, but the east side was extremely cold. I didn't have a pump, I didn't have enough oomph in the pumping system to circulate that hot water all the way around the building. These parts should be on a shelf. There are grave consequences if you don't carry these parts. Buildings get extremely cold. Air compressors, the library air compressor for the dry system is a 1999 compressor. That's dangerous.
Thank you.
But your
I do-
budget is not being built up to resupply that closet. It's just you're
Nothing. There's nothing
anticipating
in
what
it.
you're
I
spending. No,
could-
I'm just
yeah.
saying, but in terms of, you're discussing what you
Yeah,
like, but you're
yes.
not actually asking to.
I'm
fill
not
the
asking
supply.
for that right now.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, the ramification of not having parts is not being able to do everything on this list, and not raising repair and maintenance to the building. I simply don't have the funds to do that, unless you approve me continually going over budget by a lot. I can tell you today, wherever that feature, building, repair and maintenance to the building is getting harder for me. I'm over $5,000 in repair and maintenance to building, and I have 5 months left.
Okay.
Well, I should, yeah, that's correct. I'm 176% more than I should, over. Professional services, I'm over $6,000 in that budget already. I have 5 months to go. Overtime, I'm $5,300 over in that line. I have 5 months to go. Maintenance supplies, custodian, I'm at $1,800. I'll immediately go buy that in the next month. I need 2 new vacuums. I need equipment for the new community center. You'll need paper products. You need cleaning chemicals. The bathrooms are used more. Meetings run longer. Bathrooms are used more. The center building opens up at 7:15. There's a litany of people standing out there waiting to get into those bathrooms in the center building.
Brad, are you suggesting that those, what you're just describing right now, are not in your budget? Because they should be.
They should be.
They
That's
should be,
why I
so
made-
they should be reflected, but are they?
Are they right now in this budget, or do we need to ask you to add?
No, I added an increase to my supply line just for custodial.
Okay, that's what I was
But,
asking.
but if I understood your answer to Amy, nothing in your current budget will put something on your supply closet.
Nothing.
And if, I hate to ask it, but I'm gonna ask it, if you were going to put some of those critical parts so that the library doesn't freeze overnight,
Yep.
ballpark, what would you want in there and what cost would that be?
Well, right now, if it just, this is a
Purely hypothetical.
hypothetical. You said, Brad, here's $10,000, go buy all your parts and restock your closet. I could spend that in less than a half hour.
And would that be meaningful, or would that just be?
It would help tremendously. I can tell you the circulating pump at the library is gonna cost you close to $5,000. That's at one pump. There's only one there. It's a Bell and Gossett, high horsepower, heating circulator pump.
And again, pardon my ignorance, but is the circulating pump in all these buildings, are they all different?
They're the same manufacturer, but they're all relatively different depending on the size of the building. There's 2 in this building, there's 1 over at the library, there's 3 in the PD, 2 primaries and a secondary. You lose a primary, you have a problem with heat. If you lose 2 primaries, you've lost heat.
There are things that we're looking at from an energy standpoint that talk to the mechanicals, as far as we're working with some different types of organizations, vendors, who will leverage savings for you not to have to invest, not have to use upfront dollars to invest in mechanicals. And they take on your energy as a service. So it's something that we're looking at, which could mitigate some of what Brad is describing, so that we don't need to have the circulator at our disposal, but somebody else would. So that's some of the conversations we've been having right at this point in time.
Lengthy
We need to flesh that out.
And without putting you too much on the spot,
But-
do we have a time frame? I mean, is
Yeah,
that
we'll-
stuff
we'll
you
know-
think will
we'll
be
know
in
if it's
with this
feasible.
budget year?
We'll know by the end of our budget process, not necessarily. I'd say it'd be 3 months or so, Tony?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be about 3 months before we have a good sense as to whether or not who we should use, how we should use it. The issue is we're very small, so usually the smaller you are, the less savings you're gonna generate through efficiencies. So it won't necessarily pay for everything you need, so that's one of our challenges. But we'll know soon. We're meeting with one firm in particular that we're very interested in on Thursday, so we'll have some information before this process goes, before we get, too far.
Brad,
So-
can I ask for clarification on, or to better understand overtime, understanding that there's lots of late meetings, long meetings, and events in town. And you had given some nice history or context about how your staff is already bare boned. But to my understanding, you had mentioned a night shift person, like,
Night custodian.
night custodian, could there be different shifts? Could it be managed such that if someone is working the night, it's not overtime? It's not considered overtime because they work evenings for that purpose.
I'd have to adjust his shift, which would be difficult. What you're asking me to do is.
I'm just
look
asking
at-
to understand.
Yeah.
I don't know
I mean,
how.
one person could say.
I'm not
that-
asking you to do anything.
Yeah,
I just need to better
One person could say, well,
understand.
we know we have meetings that night, don't come in till this hour and begin
Well,
your shift then,
His current shift is
1 to 9.
1
He
to
has a
9.
night-
Is that your
He has a
asking?
night shift.
The night custodian's current shift is 1 to 9.
So if something
con-
extends past 9,
Right.
and is it a flexible schedule? So if we know we're having a town meeting, can it be 2
No.
to 10?
We don't, I've
Can
never,
that be
never
I
done
don't
that.
think in the contract it would be contractual.
Okay.
That we would have to negotiate in terms
Well,
of the
then
schedule.
perhaps the town needs to have curfews for events and
It's
meetings.
hard when you're having a TPZ meeting to say you have to finish up.
No, but
Or
start
us.
early.
We're not too good.
No, not at all. But
And Brad, sorry.
No,
I'm asking about, because you said you're using overtime for, I think you said you were using overtime for like Woodbridge, like me, like me.
All the events, we do that.
Can we, is there any advantage to switching those from overtime to, I mean, we know these events are gonna happen, we know you're going to
Well,
need to
it's
staff
it's
it.
an event we offer the residents, because they pay high taxes in town, and it's a good thing. It brings a lot of people
No, I'm just
together
saying,
on
do you
Saturday.
have to do it by overtime, or is there a way of doing that?
It's on Saturday.
It's on a
It's a
Saturday.
weekend.
So it's just
So
because
that
it's
just-
the weekend?
so I
It's
don't.
in the contract on a weekend.
So
Okay.
perhaps that can be negotiated in the future because you could have different, like I'm in a union, but I have I'm paid X amount of hours per pay period, but I have a built-in flexible schedule, so I can work evenings, I could work weekends, I don't get overtime. I don't know what the feasibility of that is, Tony. I'm looking at you because you, I think,
Right.
deal with that.
Right.
I'm not looking at Brad for that,
Well,
and
We could certainly discuss the possibility of that in the next negotiation.
Yeah.
Which is
Coming up.
2 years, a year and a half.
I mean, I just feel like, and not just in building maintenance, but overtime is something that to a large extent can be avoided if planned for and addressed a little bit more strategically. And so I don't have enough information in this specific department to provide meaningful input on how to do that,
And
but
he has a
it is
regular-
usually avoidable.
But his position is a regular custodial position that's necessary 1 to 9 every day because of what he does in his procedure, right, to clean.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Right, so it's not like we could say, well, don't come in Tuesday, come in Saturday instead, because then Tuesday we would have know all the garbage wouldn't get emptied at night.
That's right.
The floor, nothing would get cleaned. It's like a regular procedure he goes through at night. That's why he's the night custodian.
I would also say with all the buildings that we have, there's a certain amount of overtime that comes up because things break down, as you just said.
Correct.
And so you can't plan for the breakdowns.
Understood.
And
But you can plan
that
for
has
the
to be-
meetings and the events to a certain degree.
But the bulk
And I'm
of
just
it-
using this as a guinea pig because overtime comes up in a lot of
Let me
departments.
say one thing, the bulk of the overtime, a big chunk of it, is my overtime for repairs.
Yeah.
I'm on
Right.
call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's 3 individuals right here, Allison is not here, that can call me, and I have to take that call, including PD dispatch, or my brother behind me, where I have to address an overtime call. So I could do one of 2 things. I could say, well, I can't determine on the phone how dangerous it is.
Of course. And I trust your judgment. I
So-
don't mean this to
yeah.
imply
So,
any.
and trust me, the majority of time, I don't really want to come in.
Yeah.
I palmed it
believe
off
it.
last night
There are-
on the other technician.
To your point, Andrew, there's processes or policies that we can put in place that might help, won't eliminate, but certainly
Yeah.
might be able to help in terms of just making sure that we say everybody's got to be out of the bill, if it is a private function, it's got to be done by 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
But just keep in mind that if it is a private function, it's not a town function, generally those costs are passed on to the person who's
Who's
having
hosting
the
it.
event.
Yeah, private function, there's a fee.
Brad, I think in the interest of time, is there anything else, just so, I know we gotta get to a number of others?
Building maintenance, maintenance supplies. I raised that's for custodial, the cleaning materials, I raised that, equipment parts. I also raised that, obviously, because for one main reason, that parts closet is empty. So I might be able to put 1 or 2 items in there. And that's it for building maintenance, operating budget.
So a quick question, Brad. In terms of this closet, is it just to have it when it's needed, or can't you just buy it? You're worried that it won't be available?
I don't
when you
carry
need it?
any spare parts unless they're critical. I can obviously, to be crude, I can live without a toilet seat in the bathroom, I can find that somewhere. But when you get into your pumps, anything electrical, plumbing, sprinkler, you'll see on this page over here, delayed repairs, everything, I wanna change the compressor downstairs. That's been here since I've been here.
So when you say change the compressor downstairs, is it you wanting to change it?
Well,
or
I
it's
have
not?
I have a sprinkler company come in and change that compressor.
Is it bad? Is it working?
Expensive?
It's working. It's not. Could
Well,
work for next.
the problem is that,
10
let's
years?
say it's approximately 26 years old. If the compressor fails in the middle of the night, it's 26 years old, they don't have a lifetime warranty, the air pressure in the system will drop slowly. If it's a 3-day weekend, I won't know this. So eventually the pressure will drop, and there's what's called a trip point. When it hits a certain pressure, the flapper will open and flood the dry system, like tonight, in those cold temperatures in the attic, and flood the entire dry system with water. Now you're really in trouble.
Quick question, Tony. Is there such thing as an umbrella bond to just take care of all this stuff?
So, we can get into the capital budget, and it wouldn't necessarily cover a small repair like that, but it will cover some of the larger improvements which he has in his capital budget, which we can discuss next.
But you don't want to count on a 26-year-old compressor. I think that's a foolish thing to do. Downstairs on our dry system, we don't have low-level air pressure alarm. The library is the only building it does. So a low-level air pressure alarm will sense air pressures continuing to drop over time. It will send an alarm when set at a certain pressure. It will trigger the fire panel. The fire people that monitor our building will see that fire alarm trouble and call me on the phone and say, hey, you have a low pressure alarm on your sprinkler system. That's a safety device. It gives me a little time to get dressed and get over here and find out why the pressure is so low and to take some action. Without it, if the compressor fails, floods the dry system with water, that is very bad. And it applies to the center building too. Both compressors, the compressor downstairs in the basement has been here since before the Joe Adalizzi days.
Can
I ask a question about the different buildings and the life cycles and the lifespans of the equipment that's in the building? Do we have a schedule of how old these pieces of equipment are? When was the
We
when
do.
were we supposed to replace
We
them?
completed
What's
that
the
recently,
projected
yes.
replacement?
Yeah, I did a spreadsheet,
Okay.
but some of these items on here, they're 20 plus years old.
Right.
The compressor at the library's got a big stamp on it, 1999. Most things that I replace, whether it's a pump or even some of these light fixtures in there, I have a tendency to take a black magic marker and put the date on. I put it on the vacuums, I date the vacuums, so I know when a lot of this stuff is put in.
And it sounds like most everything is past its.
Way past.
Okay.
So Maria, to that end, maybe could we ask that, could you, Brad, prioritize, tell us like, of this is a long list. So could you give us any estimation for, the top several?
Sprinklers are very, very important. Sprinklers,
Not
Yeah.
right now necessarily.
Not now, but just come back and give it to us.
I can.
So,
that's very, very easy.
So,
yeah, I
can
think
tell
that
you
would
the
be
highest
helpful with some
priorities that we should
estimate.
be
Because
concentrating
I
on.
think the judgment is that I'm hearing is, are there some things that really we should plan on maintenance before they break down? Absolutely, and maybe all of these should. But as in a home, you're gonna say, for me personally, I don't want my refrigerator to ever die, I mean, that's one of my priorities. And so I would replace it, as it was
I can
getting.
make that list
But I
up.
think it would be helpful for us in our discussion to
Some of the heating
prioritize.
pumps, the first priority, just to be brief, the sprinkler stuff over there, I've changed the way we test our sprinklers in all our buildings. Normally, it's just a quarterly inspection, but dry systems are now inspected on the off months throughout the winter. So normally we do an inspection in December. November, we have a dry system inspection scheduled.
Brad, I know you've already done some of what Amy's just
Yeah.
describing for the larger items, and like Maria said, the inventory we have. For these items, it would help as well, but I think we're
Right,
gonna get
And
into
if I
the
can ask
capital-
maybe a
we're
little
gonna
bit
get into
about
capital,
pricing
yes.
as well,
Yes, yeah,
So why don't we get into your
with a
capital?
dollar value.
with a dollar value, so that.
With a dollar
So-
value.
And
Yes.
With a
this may be
rough-
asking too much, Brad, but I'd like the priority, the dollar value, and the risk value. Because I don't know, I mean, I can imagine if the sprinkler system goes off in a building, that's bad, and it's gonna
Very.
cost a lot of money. If the library freezes, that's bad, it's gonna cost a lot of money. So if you could, for at least for my discussion, your priority, the cost, and the risk.
I can do that.
Are we suggesting, I'll just ask a very blunt question, are we suggesting that we will fund these things, or we will consider these things if he goes through the process of doing that?
I think we have to. I don't see how we can't,
Okay,
otherwise we
just-
just.
And I also think from a planning perspective, we need to know what to expect in future budget years with regards to that.
Okay,
That's fine. I can
Thank-
write that up easily.
thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'll do the best I can with cost.
How do you want to do this? The capital, Tony?
So I put on the screen a list of the capital, a summary of the capital, Brad's capital budget. So, I mean, everyone has a detail that you submitted, but you could just talk from this list.
Yeah, I absolutely will. I have it in front of me too. The first item on the list is police department air conditioning. That's a very old train, packaged unit, 20-ton air conditioner at the police department on the roof. I honestly say that's probably been there, installed sometime when I started in building maintenance many years ago. So my intention, first of all, my intention this year is to start the unit as soon as possible to determine whether or not the unit still runs. If it did not run, it would be very expensive to try and air condition the police department. I could not put window units in. The windows in the PD are just too small to put a 12,000 BTU unit in. I'd have to get standalone units, very expensive to rent. I'd have to get plywood, open the window, take the window out, mount plywood, cut a hole in it for a flexible duct for each unit, lay them on the floor as a discharge is required, and try and air condition the PD until such time we can get a brand new unit on the roof. Very disruptive to the police department for me to do that. Extremely disruptive. It's very expensive to bring in temporary air conditioning. Everybody's gonna want a unit. We thought about it here in the town hall and realized it was too expensive. I think it was $19,000 a month to rent all the units, standalone big units, duct them out with the plywood. The contractor doesn't do that. He just supplies the air conditioning units. Extremely disruptive to the police department. That unit has seen better days. It's basically the same age as the unit downstairs in the town hall that recently failed when we tried to start it this spring.
Okay. Next item.
Go ahead, Miguel, you're...
No, I was just, I'm looking at the summary here, just so we can get a sense and see if there's any questions that anybody has based on what we're looking at here.
Well, I just have one quick question, which may shorten the whole time frame, which is that it seems to me that you're indicating that the air conditioner in the police department, the town hall, the library, I don't see any mention of the fire department, because I
Fire
know,
department too.
you know, probably the fire department as well. I'm curious.
Separate.
It's gonna be a separate budget item?
Yeah.
Okay, but it's there, so we need to know about it. And I'm assuming that if the air conditioners are 25, 30 years old, then the whatever our method of heating is the same. So is it fair to say that it's HVAC in those four buildings?
Yes. Our heating is basically the same age.
So we're really looking at potentially having to replace the air conditioner and heating in 4/5, because the fire department as well.
Plus the roofs, if you look
Plus
up,
the
keep
roof.
going.
Well, I'm just going in pieces. I'm looking through it, trying to shorten it out, because I think in the interest of time, we understand that these are really old, it's really bad, it's gonna be too much if we have to fix it quickly. So we should, as a group, be saying we need to discuss fixing, the best way of fixing heating and air conditioning in 5 buildings.
Absolutely. I've asked Dwight to look at all this stuff.
And roofs.
What we
And
did
roofs
was we
as
looked
well, I'm
at
sure.
Brad's list. And we took a look at it, and we looked at all the dates. All the roofing dates are out of warranty.
They were all done when I was first elected, because all of them needed to be done.
All the roofs in town, PD, center, town hall, and library, are basically, they leak. Warranties are no good, and it really doesn't make any sense to try to patch. And then if it leaks, you get damage inside, you gotta pay for the damage. So we were recommending just do all the roofs. We brought in an expert, Silktown Roofing, who I've used before, and they just did Beecher. And they gave us an estimate. They went through, evaluated all the roofs, made it, and then they gave us a budget for each. But it's our recommendation that since the warranties there is no more warranties, that we actually do it. Because what you don't wanna do is you don't wanna, continue to have issues year after year and not do it.
So
And it's the same thing with the AC units. We looked at the mechanical, we looked at the AC units on PD. We're out right now to get a price from an engineering firm to actually spec out a new unit for the PD. Because we're not gonna be able to wait until June and then go out, and then it's 90 degrees, 100 degrees, and then what do you do with with no air? So we're trying to be proactive, and we're, just trying to get a price to see how
There
much
may be
it's
some
gonna go.
creative things we can do on the HVAC standpoint, as I mentioned earlier. The roof's not so much. So it's, but it's important that we identify exactly where we are.
Fire alarm
We wanted to make
systems in the
sure.
center building,
Mhm.
it's been there for like my entire lifetime. It's the same simplex panel over there, parts aren't available.
You can't add to it.
You can't
It's
add
already
to it.
maxed out.
We have
There's
detectors in
nothing
the
you can
building
add
that
to it.
still pass fire alarm inspections, but if the panel fails, there are no parts for it, requires a fire watch at $50 an hour. You can have everybody leave the building except the police department. Well, that's 24/7, it's $1,200 a day to have a fire watch roam that building. And as Mika understands, it's not that easy to change a fire alarm. You just don't call somebody and say, I want this changed. A fire alarm panel of that size requires that it's engineered, and drawings have to be done for a fire panel that big. That's the only way the fire marshal will accept a new fire panel. He has to sign off on it, so does the building official. So at $1,200 a day, waiting for the fire panel to arrive and the drawings and the engineerings to be done could be very long time, weeks. No matter how hard you want that person to do it, and that has to go out to bid.
So if you're wondering why the elevator isn't still working,
That's the reason.
that's the reason. So
I
we've been
have-
trying
I
to
have an
push hard on it,
engineer
and it's
doing-
just not.
This is a little easier to do down here, it's considerably smaller, so he's just gonna do a scope of work without any drawings. And I have 3 companies that do notifier panels, one, they do Beecher Road School. Those 3 companies, I'll provide the scope of work. But the reason it's taking so long is some of the detectors use household voltage that's no longer used. It's
By the way,
standard-
we'll have
Yeah.
that tomorrow morning, I talked about.
Did?
We'll have it tomorrow morning.
Great.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
But I'll get your list.
Thanks, Brad.
You're welcome. Now you have the easy person.
No, very informative. Appreciate it.
Gotta have that brotherly dig, huh? Is that what you got?
All right, this will be real quick. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I don't know if you guys know me. Some of you I have not met before. My name is Adam Parsons. I've been here 26 years for the town. And I've run the Parks Department for 26 years, so it's pretty simple to me. So last year, we proposed to have an extra full-time guy in our department. We'd eliminate 2 seasonal employees and have a full-time guy replace them. But that didn't happen, so we reverted back to the old ways. So there's a slight increase in that. And
But you're
one-
trying again or not?
No, I'm not.
Okay, because it was a little confusing
Yeah, it is
reading this.
confusing. So it's
Yeah.
back to where it was, but the only difference is that Tim Anderson, who works for me, the full-time employee, we're gonna give him a small increase because he's running the crew every day, every minute. I can't be there every day, every minute.
Right.
So there's an increase, just a tad. But I can offset that with my seasonal employees, like not hiring them for a week or so to cover that. So it'd be a 0 increase throughout my entire budget.
And the difference is, as Adam said, because of raises, you would think that labor would be at least 2.5% more, as it is in most other cases. However, in this case, the increase on the labor, the first 2 items, is less than 0.5%, specifically because of some of the other tweaks that
Right.
Adam's made. So,
You have something to say? No. You want to? Okay. So if you go right down from there, it's just all 0 increases. Nothing's changed.
One question about the removal of trees on town-owned property.
Yeah.
So, is that, I mean, I'm just trying to understand how extensive you're talking about in terms of the properties that are covered by that.
Well, just a perfect example is on Oak Hill, the road over here. We had some trees next to the road that was a walking trail.
Mhm.
I think we spent $7,500 just in that one area.
Right, okay.
So that's why I basically see 10,000.
It's a walking trail into Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
So that could be, I help out everywhere in town with
Right.
all the trails.
Right.
So if there's a massive tree or a terrible hanger,
Mhm.
really dangerous, I intervene.
Recently did
I've
work
called
at
you
Fitz,
about those.
Let's say, thank you.
recently did work at Fitzgerald, if I'm not mistaken, for in one of those trails there as well. no?
That's correct. There is a massive white swamp oak, and there's broken limbs on it, right under a bench. Right, the trees, so I pruned it, and now it's safe, or,
Adam, we've talked for a year or so now in regards to cutting it back hours at the transfer station, more as a means by which we could help you in the summertime.
yep.
Even if we do it in the summer, we go to summer hours, specifically to free up 2 guys. What kind of impact would that have in terms of,
For the Public Works Department?
for the parks in
It'd be
particular, if those,
huge.
or for Public Works generally speaking?
Yeah, I mean, we have people, we have guys that on the crew that have been there a long time.
Mhm.
And they have days off, so it seems like every day there's a guy not there. So that's annoying, but I deal with it. So having those guys come down to fill the needs for sweeping the roads, sucking out catch basins, tree work, picking up trash, whatever the daily need is gonna be huge.
That's
We're-
It'll-
Public Works, though.
I'm sorry?
That's Public Works, not parks, right?
you're saying it
Well,
would
they
help
could do
all-
landscaping and things of that nature, which is parks,
All of
so.
them. Both
Okay.
Public Works and
Right.
parks.
Okay.
Just the dog park alone, we're emptying the trash almost every day,
Mhm.
every day. So, that's, somebody's gotta do that, not just one person, it's 2 people. So it'd be huge.
Thank you.
Is there any, this might be a better question for Public Works, but for invasive control on public right-of-ways, are you involved in that, or is that, to my understanding, the town doesn't do much. And I'm increasingly, not just from an environmental standpoint, but from a public safety standpoint, concerned, particularly with Japanese knotweed, because it really is a visibility barrier in many
Definitely.
of our intersections. So, and it's so refreshing to see a budget like this with so little to no increase, so I appreciate that. But is there any thought or talk about having a plan and implementing?
There is not.
Okay. And what would that take, other than support from those sitting across from you?
Probably support and knowledgeable people, support from the state. Is that, there's support from the state financially?
For public right-of-way invasive control, not that I'm aware of. But a lot of our main roads are state roads, and so there's partnership potential, with DOT at the very least.
For Japanese knotweed, just to control or try to control it
It's
very difficult.
It is.
Yes.
And we've let it go unchecked for far too
Oh,
long.
most definitely. So you're talking pesticides.
Yeah. Oh, it has to be pesticides, and very often the mowing.
You're just encouraging it,
Correct.
actually.
It spreads it.
Yes.
We're watching it at the end.
Yeah.
It definitely spreads it, and
Yes.
it's a huge issue for Public Works, because I'm a Public Works foreman. So, and it grows on the corner of an area where there's a stop sign and a sight line where people are trying to look out,
Yes.
try to pull out on the road. And we're constantly mowing it. And you gotta look at it another way too. People don't wanna spray chemicals in the future, but we're at a point where you have to.
Yeah.
Can't
We
win
just
with
don't
that.
have the manpower to cut it enough. We
And
just don't.
to where it becomes, from a budget perspective, more economical to use the chemicals.
Oh, most definitely.
So, but the hope is to do it intensively for a shorter period of time, so that it's not so mowing. So a different type of approach could be more manageable over the long term.
Andrea and Adam.
Not to digress too much. but-
Well, not to digress even further, but it is something that in my mind, we should discuss with our Conservation Commission as a means by which to have somebody who can look at it and see what we can find out in terms of what others are doing or what we can do along those lines.
A lot of
But,
them
Adam, I know,
invasives
can't.
It takes hand pulling,
Right.
you know, and who has the strength or the time to hand pull a weed on a, you know, at an intersection sightline?
No, it would have to be with a heavy machinery.
Right, and
Yeah.
people cover with plastic, you know, they do all kinds of interesting things to eliminate certain type of invasives like that, but it's manpower is the difficult part.
Okay.
So that's why pesticides come in
Yeah.
play.
Are
every
we allowed to
aspect.
use pesticides? Didn't we used to have a pesticide policy in
We
Woodbridge?
do have a
We still-
pesticide
We still
policy,
do, we
yeah.
can't use it on town.
but we do not have a pesticide policy for
Is
the
that-
roadsides.
Roadsides
For
are
real?
exempt, roadsides are exempt.
Who
Exactly.
established that policy?
Many years ago.
I think that
Mr.
needs to be
Ball fields
revisited.
and things.
This is-
Mr.
Well,
and
I
Mrs.
could
Simon.
understand the
Right.
value of that, but
Yeah.
perhaps we need to revisit that.
Yes.
But when public safety is the concern, which it is in this
We have
scenario.
not sprayed in three years, I think, in Public Works,
Yeah.
along the guardrails.
Yeah,
It's at a point where we have to do it,
yeah,
and, you know, it's just dangerous.
I agree.
And you know for a fact, the state, they spray a lot.
Yeah, they do.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I've noticed other towns, some of our neighbors starting to spray. I've noticed Prospect spraying knotweed.
There's all kinds of invasives
yeah.
that are annoying, bittersweet, poison ivy, you know, that it's taking over signs, it's
Yeah.
doing what it does best, it kills
Takes
the,
over.
kills everything, especially bittersweet. So,
Thank you, Adam.
Can I ask about the capital budget? What's the truck that needs to be replaced?
we have a 22-year-old Isuzu truck, and it's in trouble,
Okay.
and it needs to be replaced.
So
We
would
talked
this
about this
be
last
included, Tony, in the regular budget cycle or not? I mean,
The truck?
yeah.
Yes,
A
so
budget
this would be
replacement?
replaced, this is contemplated to be replaced on a cash basis, so,
Okay,
yeah.
so it's already sort of built in
Yeah.
into multi-year planning?
Correct.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
it's
you.
in trouble, the motor's in trouble, it's, you know, it's 22 years old.
Yeah,
So. And then I have another capital, budget capital item, it's for ball field clay. I can't support that in my operational budget.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, let's see that.
We don't have it.
It's in there, $5,500, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that's,
Oh, it's in your operating budget.
that's in
the
your
last line.
operating
Yes.
budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was furniture. I thought that was
Yeah,
furniture.
no, but
It says capital / furniture and fixtures, but you're saying that's actually for clay?
it is for clay.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
And
We were wondering
need-
what furniture you were buying.
No, it's like a new desk. With the ball field clay, we need that, because if, you know, just at home plate, the kids dig it out around home plate, and then you create a bowl, and water gets in there, and it's like impossible to get rid of it, so it's, you constantly adding clay, but we're out of clay.
Okay,
So that's like a must.
okay.
It's all a must, but, you know, you can't stop ball field tournaments, right, you guys?
So, Andrea, in terms of the public safety issue, what should he do to start addressing some of that stuff?
I think a good start might be to contact some other towns, some of our neighboring towns, and see what they're doing and how they're funding it, if they're working with DOT or not. But I can be a resource, and so could the state in terms of what chemicals to use, when to use them, for whatever the target species
Right.
are. But really, step one in any invasive control is to understand where your populations are. You know, start with an inventory, prioritize the areas in terms of public safety risk. So those visibility issues. There's a lot of times where I feel like I'm halfway in the road I'm trying to turn into, because I have to get that far out to see.
No, I understand.
So
Me
a
too.
prioritization of the areas, and then
See, we just said we have a map of all the guardrails in town.
yeah.
And we just spray those guardrails.
Yeah.
We used to, we just haven't done it in 3 years. It's around $9,000.
Did you contract that out, or you did
Oh,
it?
yeah.
I would also add that eventually you're gonna have to deal with poison ivy on Fitzgerald Track and other public properties, because if little kids are in them, even if dogs get in them and then are petted by little kids.
Technically, I'm not allowed to do that, because we're in that policy.
Well, that's where I'm going with revisiting the policy when it comes to noxious weed like poison ivy.
And there isn't an organic control
No.
that'll eliminate it. There's
Yeah.
not.
And
I've
so
tried
for
them all.
public safety, that's a very good point. Environmentally, poison ivy is wonderful. It's a great pollinator. And
Most definitely.
yeah,
So
and
is knotweed.
yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, there's
interesting.
thousands of honeybees on
Yeah.
it, blossom.
But yeah, well,
Yeah, you talk to any beekeeper, it's hugely important.
yeah.
Yeah, let's take some notes on that stuff, so we're just not talking about it.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Adam.
Have a good night.
You too. Thanks.
Up next, tax collector.
Trying to catch up a little bit.
This is the first time I can actually say this, it's warm in here.
Yeah.
Good evening, my name is Pat Crisco, I'm the tax collector, and I've been here for 26 years, almost 27, I can't believe it. I guess I should just start off by saying, do you have questions about the budget, first of all, and then we can go from there.
I just have one question.
Sure.
Just because I don't understand it. It looks like we're giving about 2.5. I assume there was an advisory
Just
about
gonna answer that.
yeah, the 2.5 increase for everybody, but what about the assistant
I can
tax
answer
collector?
that.
Tony
That's a
can-
step increase.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
Yeah.
It's part of the
Never
union
mind,
agreement.
Pat, it was answered.
Okay.
So,
Wonderful answer, thank you.
so you're welcome. I have to say, first of all, kudos for continuing to collect an extraordinary percent of the taxes.
Thank you.
We're all indebted to you. I think my question for you is whether there's any further action on delinquencies that you would recommend that we're not taking currently.
Well, with great hesitation, we went to a marshal last year. It turned out to be very successful. I know there are a lot of unhappy people about it. And we tried to keep it at a $500 minimum, but mainly it was going after people from the teens yearly, from 2014 up, who had just not bothered to pay. What happened for a long time was that if you couldn't get a release to get your registration done, people went out and leased cars. And if you leased a car, it didn't matter. You could owe back taxes on your other cars and you still could lease a car. They're beginning to change that a little bit now, so we're getting more from that. But the marshal was very effective. I have also gone to foreclosures. I think of all the ones I've started, we've only, over the years, finished 3 that actually went to sale. Most people find a way to pay.
At
We have-
18% interest or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of that. I've never collected under 9.996 since I've been here, most of the years. It's never been a really big problem here. I mean, people have paid their taxes. This July, I have to admit, was the toughest time I've ever had in 20 years. It was really difficult. People didn't read. They didn't read the letters that were sent out by the assessor's office, so they had no idea of what was going to happen to their assessed value. And then they kind of thought, well, if it went up, our mill rate's going to go way down. If you didn't come to a budget hearing and you didn't hear what was going on in the town, you weren't being very bright about it. That's a really big issue. So January's been a little bit better because they understand they had to pay in July. It's going to be the same thing in January. Marcia can tell you, there were some lawsuits and we had some reductions. I don't know exactly what it was all total, but some of them were pretty good. And as far as the numbers, what really kills us is the fact that the state insists that we go and publish 3 times each collection time. 3 times in the paper in July and 3 times in December. And it's very expensive.
In a paper that nobody reads.
That's right. And it's so thin, you can't, I don't know if anybody might receives it, but, so that's, it went up, it's costing me this year about $3,500 just to do those ads. Other than that, I don't think there's anything big. Anything, have any questions? No? Okay.
Just to reiterate, Pat, thank you so much for your efforts, because you've been, I
Thank
think
you.
you're, again, remain top 10 in the states, and so thank you again.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks for sitting through the other stuff, too.
Thank you. Next line item, assessor, board assessment and appeals.
Okay, hi. Marcia Benno, assessor. I've been here just 5 years. So, just getting off a revow from last year. I sent a memo, along with Brad, the request for the 0% increase, I just try to, express, we only use 1/3 of 1% of the budget, and we make up 90% of the taxes collected. So it's 2-person office, I think it was 2.5 before I got here. I think there was a part-timer. And there's been a lot of more communications and more time and more reports in the past 2 years than when I first came on. So it's a lot more being piled on for the 2 people, even though we didn't ask for anybody else. I'm trying to get through it, but it's a very busy office. We got to take from the town clerk's office, from the building department. We get information and we have to process that, disseminate it to the tax collector or to the state of Connecticut, to the veterans program, fire, police. We have to our information is the center hub of everything that has to go out, and we have to follow the statutes, and make sure that we keep up with the legislation and what changes are made. And yes, it's a lot, and it's a lot of communications, but we try to keep it under, keep the budget at an even keel. I don't ask for too much. I've kept everything pretty much the same, with the exception of vendor increases, because their cost to do things like printing and binding our grand list books go up. The cost to update our, get additional things for our mapping. And I did have an increase too in the printing and binding, because in the 5 years I've been here, I think I just picked up this last year or the year before the copier lease that I guess comes out of my budget that I didn't know. So I don't know, is there?
I have 2 questions,
Yeah.
Marcia. The first is, how are you handling appeals from a cost perspective? Does a contractor who was used last year for the assessment have any role, or how does that work? Or do you have to then defend whatever the contractor helped to create? I'm
Right.
trying to understand from a cost perspective, because the contractor was used and then
Right, so the
still used.
revaluation company was just there to take the information that I pull together from inspections and things like that, and then they do the valuation comparison of what the sales were, come up with the values. They do the hearings, the informal hearings
Right.
prior to the values being put forth. So they do that part. After that, they're no longer involved.
Okay. That's what I'm
That's
asking.
when it goes to our Board of Assessment Appeals, and if the people that were appealing weren't satisfied with the board, then they have to go to court. And at that point, then the town attorney gets involved because then there's lawsuits for these
I understand that. I was just trying to understand whether you pick up whatever the reval was that was performed by the contractor and then you are carrying it through forward. There's no role for that contractor.
Right.
In
So
defending.
between me and the town attorney,
Yeah.
and if we need to get an appraisal, I have to go through those, all those court cases and settle them,
So.
try to settle them.
So 2 questions. Then where is the money coming from for the cost of defending these
Legal fees
lawsuits?
under selectmen.
Under Selectmen, okay. And then you mentioned that a major goal for this coming year is investigate the feasibility of a personal property audit. What is
Right.
a personal property audit?
So business personal property, we have about 700 business personal property accounts in town. We have about 1/3 that do not file their personal property. So it is up to me to come up with an estimate of what assets they have in their business. Now, if I say, okay, this is a home business, and home businesses usually don't have much, and I say, okay, they probably got a desk, a chair, a computer, a printer, I'm gonna estimate at $2,000. But actually, they have $10,000. So we're losing that $8,000 as taxable assets. Or if I have a bakery and they don't file, and I say, okay, well, maybe they got 20,000, but they really have 50,000. This audit will go through, so when you do an audit, I know I had an audit, but it was about 12 years ago. I worked with a company, they did contingency audits where they didn't collect any money unless they found something and until the fees and penalties were collected. Then they got a portion of the back taxes that were owed and the penalties that were owed. But then there are some audit companies that they'll say, well, we want $300 an audit, regardless if you're giving money back to people or if you're collecting money from people. Because there are instances where there's companies that will over-report things that they're not supposed to. So in an audit, we go back 3 years from the date that you're told. So if we did one in 26, you do 26, 25, 24, well, 26 won't be, and 23, because actually it's preparing for the 10/1/26. So anything that you find where they owe or we owe back to them, then they would have that. So I just don't know, based upon our commercial makeup, of the feasibility is how many are home businesses and really is there anything that they're actually hiding or not reporting? And with the ones that are reporting for bigger businesses, are they reporting the correct stuff? I know with accounting, because people use accountants all the time, they say, oh, it's depreciated to nothing. Well, that doesn't happen. In assessment, you have a 30% of original cost is your lowest depreciation. So if a machine cost you $100,000 200 years ago, it's $30,000 still, But they're saying, oh, it's nothing because it's over 200, so it's depreciated, fully depreciated. So you're not capturing that. So it's just getting people to report what they're supposed to be reporting in accordance with Connecticut general statutes, to do that and make sure that people aren't overpaying or underpaying for what their assets they actually have.
And you would look at the feasibility this coming year, but you're not talking about starting this.
Right, I'd have to
fiscal year
contact
27.
companies to see who, I like the contingency, and I would call the company I worked with, because when I did do the audit back in, a while back in Milford, we were very successful, but we did about, I had 3,000 accounts, in Milford back then, so we did I believe we did 200 a year for 3 years, before I had left. So, the first year I think it was maybe like $500,000 of tax collection. but that included the 3 years back, plus your interest, plus your penalties. And then the collection, the auditing agency collected 25%.
Thank
So
you.
Marcia, if you do it on a contingency, the financial risk is pretty much not there.
Right.
It's just if they find something great, if they don't,
Right.
that's.
I mean, if they don't, or if they find that it's lower, I mean, you still have to, you have to pay back the people who overpaid.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So it's just trying to figure out, you know, how many businesses.
Great.
I mean, I would definitely want to go look at the ones that haven't filed in the past 5 years, and they just say, oh, well, she does it, so why should I even bother? You know, even with the 25% penalty, if you only have if I'm only estimating $1,000, it's only $12.50 times the mill rate, which is what, $40-50?
Right. Thank you.
I just have one question
So-
on the line item, printing and binding.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain that, what that is? Can that be,
So that.
can technology eliminate?
That is actually
Can that
for
be
our
digitally?
monthly copier and for the copier lease. And then that also includes the printing and binding of our grand list. And for, we have to send out income and expense reports, personal property declarations, increase notices, change notices that are all, what our vendor does is whenever we do have those, they print them out for us and mail them.
So physically printing and mailing and.
Right,
binding.
and the binding of the grand list books
Why do we need
and
the
the
grand
copier.
list printed and bound?
It's required to have a,
State law.
yeah, a grand list. And you have to keep it forever. So if you go to the town clerk's office, they will have a grand list from, you know,
I will say
1910.
it's fun to go back and look at those
I'm sure
occasionally.
that it is. I see the value, but then the state should pay for it.
Oh, there's a lot of things like that.
I know. That was one of the first things I learned.
Thank you, Marcia.
Okay,
Any other questions?
no, and also, did you want to do the board
Yes.
of assessment
that
appeals?
was on our list.
While I'm putting it. I think I put an increase in for them because they go over, I know they go over budget every year. Let's see, that would be the regular, I think I went from 15 to 2,000 on the regular all other. And the part-time clerical, I think I went down. Postage, I went down, and the meeting supplies, I went up because there was new, well, I don't know if they got it in, but there's new board members, and I suggest that they go to the Board of Assessment Appeals workshops, so they know how the Board of Assessment Appeals works, and knows what they're supposed to be doing, and what what my duty is, what's their duty, and where value comes from, and how do you make changes, so those workshops are about $50 a piece. So if we have 3 members, that's $150. But they also have to have their letter, notices and postage to send out from the Board of Assessment Appeals. And I think they get $25 an hour for their hearing.
They get paid?
Yeah.
They do?
They do.
Is that state law also?
Yeah.
Why?
You ran for the wrong office.
I know, what?
That's the only board that gets paid, I think.
It is.
I don't,
I'm really disappointed I lost that.
I'm pretty good from this seat.
Any other questions?
No, thank you, Marcia.
Thank you, Marcia.
thank you.
Next budget line, recreation.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's very weird. Sure, I can't.
Good evening, gentlemen.
I'm John Adamovich, Director of Recreation, and this is John DeMayo, my office manager and my assistant. It goes far beyond being an office manager. And there's Karen, who I always go to. This is my 39th presentation. Next year will be my 40th and last presentation. At a certain point, you have to call it an end like this. But today, we're here. We followed what we could. We were asked to come in with a zero-based budget. We did it. I didn't do it alone. I did it with John's help. I did it with Dave Cohen, the afternoon senior supervisor. I did it with Dave Smith, the night supervisor, John Vecchio, and Rob Kenyon. These are all the senior leaders of the rec department. We got together, I went to each one of them, we sat down, and how we could cut the budget, how we could come back, how we can get more efficient on what we did. So we were able to, with our regular budget, to come about $3,000 under that budget of last year. So we presented you with everything can. One of the things is the state of Connecticut has a, overseeing the children, a 1 to 12 ratio. We were a 1 to 6. I will go to a 1 to 8 this year coming up, a little bit more, less, so that we can drop the budget, and this is how we can reduce the number of people that work for the recreation department for afternoon programs. But that comes with a tendency that if our programs grow, this year, every year for the last 2 years now, we've been getting close to over 300 each division, fall, winter, spring, and then summer camp, summer recreation. This year, we topped off at 356 children. These children, that's about 40% of the population of Beecher Road School that we're having come to our programs. It's one pond, it's one division we draw from. Everybody draws from that same one. So when you have 350 for the fall, winter, like that, you might be over, it's the same children, a lot of the same children, but other children can come in the winter, some can come in the fall, some come in the spring. It's the same with our workers. Our workers are Amity High School students, and right now, students that are going to play spring baseball sports at Amity are going to be leaving us. And we're going to have kids that couldn't work in the winter, played basketball and everything like that. They'll now come back to recreation to work. So our numbers vary in how we do it, and I will not let it go. I just give for instance, summer camp. You have a leader, you have an assistant, you have 24 children. State covers you. You're 1 to 12. The assistant can't come in that day. You have 1 to 24. You cannot run that group. You cannot run it. All right, you're legally responsible. So that's why you add a third person to the group. And a lot of times when you have smaller children, our kindergarten, first, second graders, the rabbits, the carrots, all those little guys, you need an extra person. You have to cut that down. And that's the only way we do it like this. So I'll just be honest with you, if I have to make it safety for our kids, they're our kids when they're with us. They're their parents' kids when they're with them. But when they come to us, it's our responsibility to stay with them. I'll give you an example. Saturday, a parent didn't show up after basketball. 12 o'clock, basketball is over. No parent. 12:30, no parent. 12:40, we finally got a hold of somebody. My alarm didn't go off. I'm sorry, I'll be there. My supervisor, Dave Smith, his assistant, Doug Fortune, never left that child alone. And you ask me, well, why do 2 people have to watch 1 child? That's a law. You cannot watch 1 child with 1 person. You have to have 2 people there to cover each other like this. But they did not leave. And that's the responsibility. You know, as a director, I was taught by Bob Lamel, who was the original starter in 1964 of recreation. Hire good people. Good people will do a good job, and you'll look good because of the good people. And that's what I do. John works with me, great asset. Dave Smith has been with me since the beginning. Steve Cahoon has been with me since the beginning. These people have been here 20, 30 years, okay? I started working for recreation in 1968. I was 16 years old, like this. I have never missed a summer camp, and I've never missed a road race. And you can see it's 43. Next year is 44, and then 45, like this. Well, needless to say, I just gave you some information earlier about that, but what I have here is the recreational, our accomplishments. We have here, if you have the list that's there in front of you, a 43rd 5K race and fun run. Actually, we had people this year that asked us about last year's shirts. They love the pumpkin And we got some orders for some fun. We had a few shirts left over to get to them. But these accomplishments of what we do and what we do through an entire year, a high school basketball program. We decided, we didn't have a high school basketball program this year, we decided to try to run a basketball program. So we did a little PR at the high school, and we had 38 high school students sign up for our basketball program, high school basketball program. How many paid? 38 by opening day, because everybody wanted to be on our team. So that's an accomplishment right there of a new program with the high school kids, because they're hard to get to sometimes. Expansion of the badminton program, we have a badminton program, we put it in, we use Beach Road School South. There's tape all over the floor, there's tapes everywhere like this that we use. We put it down ourselves, instead of hiring a company to come in like they did for Center School Gym, but that was a professional company, they did a great job. We do it ourselves with tape and measurement and everything like that. So there was really no cost to the town except for the tape, which is an expensive item of $8 to do the whole floor. But we started that, not figuring how well a badminton program would be. Well, it took off. I have to put in my budget more for shuttlecocks than anything else you ever had, because we played with this one last week. Well, we need more. So it works out. But our major goals, and they're tough to do when you're restricted in your budget, but our major goals is a multi-purpose slab. I don't know if you know what that is. That's one slab. You put it down. I saw this in New Jersey. They play roller skating, hockey skates, roller skates. They play basketball. They play basketball, which the courts go opposite ways, and they play tennis. So this is a multiple court. This is a court that we would put up over at the Fitzgerald property, but it's used for everything. And now in the winter, it sits there. Well, what do you do in the winter? You throw a ice cream on top of it. And it's a hard time with it. Freeze, not freeze. This year is a beautiful year, but we didn't put up the skating rink because it costs so much, and it's so hard to do. And we don't really have a great space because center field is on a tilted area. So one side has 22 inches of water, and the other side has 4. So that's not good. But if you'll see in here, in our 6-year capital budget, when we go in there, there's put in there for a synthetic one. It's really nice. And what's great about a synthetic hockey rink is that once it's assembled, it could be disassembled, it could be placed in storage, it could be taken out, put back out. But after so many years, you can flip it over. So if the court is worth 7 or 8 years, at that point, instead of saying, okay, it's ran its life, it's done, you flip it over. You use the opposite side, and now you get another 8 years out of it. And that could be put in there for the winter. So that slab could be used all year round. So that's an important part. Expanding our adult basketball program. We had a very good adult basketball program, but it's slow. Everything like everything else, sometimes they fade out. The people that were here, the adults on a Wednesday night were playing. So we went to, John Vigliotti runs a weekend program for us like this, and he brings, the teams come in, they're all Woodbridge residents, mostly about 90% of them, and he sets up the program and they come in and play basketball. And it's pure profit for us. We have, John has a key, he opens up, locks up, like this, so we don't have any problems at all at the center school gym. We're averaging over 30 students for fall and winter running club. We have a running club we decided years ago to just try to do something in the morning for kids, for something like that. We have Beach Road School North. We used to use the trails over here at Fitzgerald. But and the bus drivers are fantastic. Beach Road School is fantastic. That's how our busing. The parents drop them off. We watch them, supervise them, take them out on the course. But then they have to go to Beach Road School, and the buses would stop. I can take 10, I can take 5, I can take 15. So there was no cost for us to transport the students from there. And then we had a problem, and we ended up going to Beecher North, which is fantastic. We're at the school, we're there. We have, how do you pronounce his name? Visna. Visna is a teacher at Beecher Road School. He's there with us like this. He takes over. John's there, I'm there. John Vigliotti, who was the head of physical education for the city of New Haven, he's there with us like this. So we have adults and people out there that know how to do, and we get 30 kids. And we're a program that we don't force you to run. We don't force you to do anything. We just get you out there. And as you like it and see it like this, you do it. We have a few students that are on the spectrum that come, and I was talking to one of the parents, said to me, she said, you're gonna have it in the spring, right? So my son's still looking to come like this. He comes there and he just wants to be there. And he doesn't work, we don't force him to be in the group, we don't force him like this, just be around there. And that's the kind of thing that recreation does. We're not there for the athletes, the gigantic athletes, which we get, like this, that come in and play. But we're there for the students that don't make those teams, that don't make that are there for us, that we can take these kids and give them something to do, something to work together with, like that. So basically, we're expanding our girls program. We have girls basketball. We do that with the JCC. We work with the JCC. They're a fabulous organization. They help us out as much as they can, whenever they can. And we work together, and we combine the program. We're also working with Bethany. We're working with the new Bethany Recreation Department like this. We're working them to bring our programs together so that we can interplay teams with Bethany and then come to Woodbridge. So the kids, they're going to meet each other anyways in junior high. They're going to meet each other in high school. So we'll get them sooner and have them come and play and know each other. Let's see. Bus trips. We have a lady that runs bus trips. I'm not allowed to yell at her at work. We have a rule in our office. It's when she calls out a name, she'll say John or Johnny A. I'm Johnny A. That's John. So we don't get confused with who she's talking to. But Kathy, my wife, runs the bus trips. We run successful bus trips. We just ran one to Duck Pin Bowling in West Haven. Well, the reason why we have such a great thing with Duck Pin Bowling, the Duck Pin owner went to recreation. He was a recreation summer rat. He came to rec all our programs like that, and he owns the Duck Pin, and he goes there, and he's so good with the kids, and what he gives us, and he does, it's a profitable thing, and the kids love going on that. We have sources working with disability and inclusion. Like I said before, we include anybody. We don't stop anybody from coming to rec. If it's at a point where we need help, like we did this summer, we asked the parent if they could provide a person to be with that child in the camp group the whole time there with them, and we have them in our program, and we don't stop anybody from coming to play. Everybody's involved in recreation. One of the things I was looking for, and I hope it happens when the new building opens up, the community center, is that we unite ourselves with the kids we put away all our equipment for the whole year. It comes out in summertime, ping pong, knock hockey, all the different games get put into the shed, get put into the things and put away, and we don't use them. How about having a room where we're open, we're there, the kids could come and they can use that as part of the center, part of dropping off. Parents can come there to use it. If we put the fitness center there, we'll change the thing to where we set up a whole center like this. John's there all day, he's full-time, and he's there. And we'll run it just like Orange does.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Where are you speaking?
The center, the new building, the new firehouse, the old firehouse.
Okay.
The old
So you're
firehouse.
proposing to move the, I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah.
No. The Community Cultural Center.
Yes.
Is that right? That's
Yes.
what it's called.
Is that what it's
Okay.
called?
I don't know.
This
All
is-
right. Yes.
I think that's
C.
what it's called.
It all
Community
is.
Cultural Center.
Yeah, well, that'll bring everybody together. You want the town,
Cultural and community.
you want to have the town come to one central area. You want to have them come together like this and see that. I think that's an important thing. I think because going in the right direction, having this area, bring everybody together instead of piecemeal it here, piecemeal it there. I can go here to this, that. You have it come to one section. Everybody knows, and that's the importance of bringing everybody together. It's like the fitness center. 56 seniors come to our center, a part of it like this. Do they pay $1 million to play? No. We have a senior fee, but the community that comes together. And here's another thing: John Vigliotti works in that area, but he's a socialistic guy. He's got them going to luncheons. They all go to luncheons. I went to a luncheon in Derby with them like this. I couldn't believe it. There were 12 people. I walked through the door and they said, "Oh, look, a stranger." But this is what I mean. This is how you pull everybody's together under one roof, and that's provided. In the 6-year capital budget, we start off with the first one you have here is the upright bike. These are major things, and we use commercial equipment. We cannot use residential. We have to use commercial because of the use that it's being. The public is out there, how many people use it. So we have a rotating system like the bike coming up in 2027 you have here. The next bike that will be rotated out will be 5 years down the road, and that means the bike that's 10 years old is gone and a new bike comes in. And this bike in 2027 is only 5 years old. So you keep rotating, so it's only one bike at a time and not having to come in and buy 3 all at once. The second one is what I talked about is the synthetic court. You'll see it right there in the picture in the form. It just snaps together. That's all it does. It snaps together. You put it up, you build the outside ridges, walls, you put up. And the only thing I hate about this, it doesn't have a Zamboni machine. I always wanted to ride a Zamboni. But this is what this program, this is what would go on top of the universal slab that we have. We then go to the fitness station. The fitness station, it's really old, but you know what? Great condition. We've had 3 senior scouts do their project on our program. You remember when you were there, we went in there and we put
That
up.
was the first one, yes.
The first one we put up, we decided to put it up,
Eagle
and we went
Scouts.
from there. So we get this, now we're getting the town involved again, the kids involved again. They're going for their degree in scouting. Here's the universal slab. The universal slab that I put on here is used for volleyball, tennis, pickleball, basketball, ice skating rink. And that's another thing. We work with the Human Services. Human Services comes down and they have the 4 courts at center field. We have tennis at one end, tennis on the top. But the top turned into a pickleball court, and the senior center uses, the Human Center uses the one side all the time. That's it. But next to it are 2 more courts. And those are recreations. But they can use it when they're there, and our people can use that when they're there. But when they're not there, we can use their court. So this past season, I talked with Adam, and Adam worked with me like this, and we have pickleball courts on every court. We have pickleball lines on the 2 bottom and the 2 top. We provide the nets for up top for us. We provide, they provide a box to put the stuff in. We also provide nets for Human Services, for their program up there. Put them together and we work together. Their nets are put away every time after they're used. Our nets stay out. Ours are there for people to use. Anybody that comes and wants to use it, they don't have to. They just bring their own racket or ball and they come and play because we have nets out. And the nets aren't that expensive, so we put them out. Here's one that we don't have. We had a beautiful outdoor basketball court. It was at West River Field. And when we were there, we had, every once in a while we have a site manager come, somebody come to look and see what's safe, what isn't like this. And unfortunately, our basketball court ran along the right field line of the baseball field. Well, from the baseball field fair foul line to the court was 3.5 feet. You need 12 feet beyond the end because you don't run to the foul line and stop. You run through it. So we needed 12 feet. Unfortunately, we couldn't do anything, so we had to come down. We took down the only real outdoor basketball court for the town, which can be accessible any time or day. Do we have outdoor basketball courts? Yes, we do. We have 2 at Beecher North School. Well, it's Beecher North School. The school. You're not allowed on the property, and then that until the afternoon. Their afternoon program runs till 5 o'clock with their extended day program and our rec program. So it's not usable. Weekends, yes, it's usable. Those courts are for pickleball. Those courts are for tennis. And there's 2 basketball courts. So there's four nets up there at all times. But we need some place that could be open during the day. People can go and play. So at the Alleghi property, we have a beautiful court, but it's a mini court. It's a half court. It's not a large court. It's for younger kids. But everybody likes to come and play. And we tried year before last, we tried to do the skating rink there. The guys in the town were fantastic with the work crew. Come over and we set it up. It was beautiful. It was nice. No fencing around it. So next thing you know, there's big rocks like this. The kids, play. I probably was one of the kids at that time too. Would do something, throw it on there and see it on the ice like this, break through. And once that happens, you can't use it because somebody could get hurt. So we didn't use it, but we used it for basketball. And then Adam helped us out. The ball would come off and it would go into the playground. Nobody's going to get hurt with a basketball coming that, but going after the ball. So Adam got us a net, totally net. 10 feet high, goes in back of the court like this. It's about 4 feet off the court. You miss, you bounce, the ball hits. It doesn't go into the playground. Nobody in the playground is going to fall in it like this. And it was very inexpensive to put it up, but Adam really helped us out and got that up. And that's one of the programs. We have that small court, but I'd like to see a larger court. I'd like to find somewhere we could do it, and it's called a universal slab. And on a universal slab, there'd be 2 courts that you could play on, right? And the last one, my daughter's 45 years old. She didn't get to see a court. My grandson is 18 years old. He didn't get to see a basketball. Well, he's in New Jersey, so he wouldn't get to see it anyways. But I still put this in out of nostalgia, hoping that someday the town of Woodbridge could come up somewhere or someplace with a 90-foot diamond for the kids to play on. Bethany has one, Orange has one like this. Maybe someday we'll get it done like this. But right now, we work together. The Bethany Recreation, the Orange Recreation, and our kids get to play. They don't miss anything. And that's the 6th-year capital budget. Yes.
Are there plans or a vision for capital improvement projects at Pease Park? I'd heard maybe restrooms or any steps taking to improve shade there or to get some shade there.
What's the company we work for?
Coupop.
Coupop and us are working together, working for a state grant. We didn't get a state grant the last time like this, but that's all in there. That would be a running track around the whole area, an area to get from the playground to the soccer fields all the way down, a skating rink and everything, all those without going through the parking lot. Okay, is what we do. So that was in there, and that was with bathrooms, that was with different things. That was a development that we're still working on.
So the grant was submitted but not awarded?
Not awarded.
Okay.
Correct. So we're going to try again. We're just going to try again for that. And that'd be a beautiful area to bring people together, because if you go there now, you go there on the weekends and you just see the kids playing. So many children.
It's a wonderful spot, but so thank you for your work on that. I hope it's successful. And then can you just tell me how many people use the fitness center? Is it seniors only? Is it limited to seniors?
No, it's not limited to seniors. It's not limited to seniors.
Do you know what the membership is like?
56.
Yeah.
56 total. Okay.
56 total like this.
I thought,
in doing that. But Mika, we had a meeting with Tony, Mika, myself, and John. We got together, sitting down there, and we're looking at different ways of what we can do. You know, we lost money on it, but sometimes you lose money to give the people of the town of Woodbridge something that they could have, something that's there. So the first, I wrote it down like this. The first loss was about 40,000, something like that. We had gone behind. So in the development of moving like this, and we expanded it. It was a 3-day program. It was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Then it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. And people wanted to go on the weekend. So it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then we expanded it to daytime. We have a daytime program there 5 days a week. And then we have a nighttime program in the fitness center program that runs. And on the weekend, we just have a day program.
so meaning those are classes you offer?
No, they're not classes. Open recreation, open workapps that come in the fitness center and work out.
That's what you mean by
We have John Vigliotti, John Vecchio. John Vecchio is an expert. He was in that. He was in weightlifting champion. He's got all kinds of trophies and everything for weightlifting. He's an expert at that. Rob Kenyon, teaching like that, coming in and showing programs. So these people are there, and if somebody needs to use the equipment, they show them how to do it, what to do and what to do like this. But they work on their own. They work on their own programs like that. So it's open. But I was looking at it, cutting back and looking at it like this, and I cut it to like, we were talking about trying to get it to 0, get it to even. I got it to 22,000. So I was able to cut it in half by moving things around and cutting out different programs, different areas that were weak. What area, who didn't come at this time or that time, or 1 hour, instead of going to 9 o'clock, or 10 o'clock, you stop at 9. An hour, like you're knocking an hour off 5 hours a week. Just by doing that, those little things can bring it down closer and closer. I had mentioned when we were in our meeting that we had a large program, a lot of people, but then we moved the fitness center. And people go up, but people aren't going to stop. They need to work out, so they join other gyms. They don't come back. And then we rebuilt it. And we got to Beecher Road School, and we built this program. We got back up to the numbers, up with 80, 90 people using the program. We got moved again. And so those little moves do it. But I think once we get it over to the community center, whatever you call it, I think it's gonna grow because people are gonna be there. You can go there, run the program, your kids can come there and play in the game room like that. So I think that's gonna exercise to make it larger.
Thank you.
John, when was the last time you increased your fees?
This year. This year, we went way up on our fees, so that.
Last year you did too.
Summer camp was, cost us, what, 120,000, something like that? 23?
I don't know the exact.
I have it written down. Oh, here it is. Summer camp was $135,000 to run, and we brought in $93,000. If you take those figures and add it to this year, 26, 27, and we cut our budget to $122,000 cost by eliminating and going over each group and see the older groups, so maybe a less leader involved, doing that, and the 93,000, that cuts it to 29,000. But then we made our prices go up. Our prices for the entering camp.
You don't need to tell me the detail. I was just wondering.
Oh yeah.
Was
Well, our
last
prices
year.
went up. Our prices went up significantly, so like that. So I think that 93,000 will probably be over 100, 115,000, 120,000. So that cost of summer camp, which we need, because the parents need to have someplace to go in the morning. They come to recreation. We have a pre-camp where they drop their kids off if they have to go to work early, and our leaders take them to the back courtyard like this. Then at 12 o'clock, Beecher Road School comes down, and they take all our students that extended day. And they go to Beecher Road School from after camp, 12:30, and they go to 5 o'clock. They also go to the Woodbridge Club. We have a bus that comes, the Woodbridge Club supplies it. We supply a person to be there, make sure they get on the bus, make sure the number of people are there, make sure that they get on that bus and all the people are there. And we give, one person goes over with them, and we give them who wasn't there, who was there, so they know that they're not missing somebody. So it's an all-day thing, so I think our parents need that, and it's a very successful camp added to their camps, and it works together, and we work together as a unit. Instead of us trying to, I was looking at it to try to expand recreation a few more hours, because once you get past 4 hours, then all the state regulations come in for everything you have to do. But if I extend it just up to 4 hours, but that's adding a lot. But why would I do that? When I could take the kids and bring them up to Beecher North, they supply from 12:30 on, 12:30 to 5, and the Woodbridge Club supplies. So that working together rounds it out for everybody.
One last question. The upright bike, is it, that you want to replace, is it malfunctioning in any way?
It is not malfunctioning in any way, but it's after 10 years of service, that bike is this, and our bikes that we have, the older ones,
Right.
we don't have parts.
Okay, but we've heard that about air conditioning systems that are past, and roofs that are past their due date for replipment, so just, I don't, I'm warning you.
Well,
It doesn't sound like a priority to me compared to roofs. It sounds like a nice to have, but if we didn't
yeah,
have it
but,
for a
but
while,
here's one of
people
the
would
things.
survive.
If you guys would supply Brad's equipment room and put stuff in there, we can go in there and just grab one off the shelf. I understand what you're saying.
I'm just giving you a heads up. I mean,
I
I
understand.
appreciate all you do, but that one sounds to me like if I had to cut somewhere, that's where I cut.
And
It's only $5,000.
that's fine,
But-
because, you know,
That's what
there's lawyers here that could, bail you out because you'll probably get called in.
John, are you expecting the camp to break even this summer?
I expect to hope to get close. I expect to not have a 42,000 loss. I expect to be within $10,000. And that all depends on the number of children that come to camp. I mean, we expand sometimes like it's unbelievable. It's like the Tuesday night basketball league it's just amazing. It's packed. There's 9 kids on the team, 36 kids. Then we have Thursday, the older kids, but this time the rotation of that moved, the kids that moved out, the next rotation coming in is less. So instead of having 4 teams on a Thursday night in the afternoon for the kids, we only have 3 teams. We're putting together. But we called Bethany. We asked Bethany if they had a team. Bethany put together a team, and that's our 4th team. We don't charge them. They pay Bethany the fee, but we have them come down so our league could run. And they have a place to go too.
Excellent.
So that's it.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Enthusiasm for.
Thanks for your passion, John. I appreciate your passion.
And Amy, I just want to let you know that when I do retire, I am not retired from putting out the cup and the water in Sperry Park.
Good. We need you for that.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Oh, and if anybody wants to stop by, there are 2 turtles down in my office. They were rescue turtles from a house fire. And we're looking for a home. We're looking for a home for them, but it's hard to find another home for them, but
At
we
least
have
you
them.
don't have to worry about them escaping out the door.
No, well, you got away last night.
That's like an animal control.
Thank you.
Department issue.
Okay.
Yes, Tony?
Yep, I'll do the next 4 items. The first department is Board of Finance. The Board of Finance contains most notably our professional audit services, which is just reviewed the audit with the board this past meeting. We share that cost with the Board of Education. It's prorated based on our activity levels. We have a legal ad that we put for the preliminary budget hearing, which is pretty consistent. Printing and binding is for the flyer that's mailed out to each household. And we do prepare a small printed version of our budget for those at the budget hearing who are more comfortable with a printed version than with an electronic version. And finally, the real item in this department, which is for your consideration when you go through the budget, is contingency. This is at $300,000. We have been as low as $150,000, which is where we were last year. I kept it at this, knowing that you can discuss that and perhaps cut that if you'd like.
Tony, is there a method to how you landed at 300?
So we were at 300 last year because of some unknowns with our labor.
Yes.
And so that's why I kept it there. But we can certainly, now that we've negotiated all of our labor contracts, we can certainly reduce that.
However, additionally, there are some changes we're looking at in terms of reorganizations that we may need to look at that may require additional spots. So we want to have that, we also included some dollars in there for that. We'll get into that a little bit more.
Also, historically, contingency dealt with broken down air
Correct.
conditioners, et
That's
cetera.
another reason why I
And-
kept it, because of the
yeah,
maintenance issues.
and then
we
we
have.
also have, looks like a bad snow year that we're
Yeah.
heading into, and that was always where the snow
Contingency.
A lot of money.
comes.
And also sometimes extraordinary, like sometimes the fire department has some truck
The
repairs.
repairs that the fire department can offer.
Right. So that's what we have, because of some of the maintenance items Mika mentioned, and the snow, I just kept it at 300,000, but it's certainly something for you to discuss.
There's not a lot anywhere else to capture it, so.
That's that. The second.
Can I just ask, if you
please,
had to
yeah.
shave it, are you saying 150 is too low?
I think 150 would be too low.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think you could shave it though, but not to 150.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. More to come.
The next item, line item, is the center building. And we had to reallocate some of the telephone lines from some other departments. There were some alarm lines that were being charged to the wrong department. So you'll see some negatives in some other phone lines, but that's what is in that first communications telephone line, or alarm lines for the building. The big increase here is the electricity, which we discussed at the last meeting, was for the increase of the air conditioning at the gym. So that's where all the other months are the same, relatively speaking, compared to the previous year, except for July and August. You can see a noticeable increase.
Is the loss of the children's center going to make any difference?
Not,
No.
a little bit, but not enough to make up for the fact that we're adding air conditioning in the gym.
Right, well, and also I was thinking about the other utilities as well, but it sounds like no.
Probably not, yeah. Particularly because there are some plants that possibly use those rooms, but we still keep needed anyway.
Right.
Upgrading some of the mechanicals that we're looking
That would
at
help.
doing, that's going to have a positive impact on that.
Definitely.
So that's one of the things we're looking to do.
With summer vacationing being so high in July and August, and many families not really being around, is there less use of the center gym during those months? And like, can we just not air conditioning it? Can we not?
I'd have to check
it?
with the senior center and I'm not sure. we can certainly look into that.
I also think just, you know, the seniors who play pickleball, if it's 90 degrees out there, they go and play at the,
They play indoors.
Inside.
so.
We lined the gym when we redid the gym for pickleball.
I think it is, though, a question as to how much the system can be varied in
Yeah.
accordance with use,
I
like
know we
allow
have-
it get warmer at night,
Right.
things like that, you know, days that it's not used.
One of the things we can do in an area like the
Like
gym
the way
specifically.
we program our own home
Right.
ACs, for example.
That's on a separate system, so that can be done there.
And
In
it's
a
a
lot of
very
other
new
areas.
system, so
Yeah.
I'm guessing Brad does that, but I will.
He does. He does it to a certain degree. How much he does it in the summer, I have to
Yeah.
go over that with him. I'm not sure.
The next department is the Community and Cultural Center. And on this particular department, so we currently do heat the building. The fire department heats it because of some, they do work there, and because of some of the storage they have is sensitive to temperature. So I'm not sure, and this may be a little conservative, but I'm not sure if we're going to have that much of an increase in heat. The question is electricity use. And so as you can see, I put 15,000, which I sort of roughly based on the town hall, the size of the building, but I lowered it a little because of the activity levels a lot in town hall. So we'll see. I mean, you can see we already spend, we're projected to spend 10,000 this year. This would be another idea for contingency. If it's a little on the low side, we may have to put contingency money in there, depending on the type of use the building gets.
I'm wondering, Tony, if we should actually,
I mean, I particularly put it low because the contingency was high.
okay.
That's why I made it lower. You could increase that and probably still be under budget.
So my question about the center, the cultural and community center, I'm sure this is historical, but certainly for the cultural and community center, which has been offline for a long time, it's odd to me not to see all the ancillary costs, like the generator service. It won't happen this particular year, but the janitorial and everything.
So we've
it's
historically have all that in building maintenance.
I know we do, but it's a little skewed therefore, because you don't know what these different, like the center building, it looks like it's nothing. We all know that this thing is, you know,
Right.
a huge cloud over our heads in
Right.
reality, and it has this little modest budget.
Right.
But if you were looking at the true maintenance costs.
Right, we'd have to
Doesn't
break
reflect.
out the maintenance budget
Yeah.
to.
Which might be honestly a healthy practice for us to get a better pulse on how we're spending our money and versus how we should be spending our money. I'm also wondering, the cultural center isn't furnished, so where's the money?
So there's some money left in the budget for the project, but we're not quite sure yet until we finish the project.
Can you remind me of when that is?
So the indoor is supposed to be completed the 12th of February.
Oh,
The inside will be complete, and then the outside, the exterior, will commence as soon as the weather gets a little warmer. And they have to do some paving, planting, and grass, that sort of thing.
we're not intending to use it until such time as the exterior is done, because they need to do asphalt, and they can't do that obviously until
Hopefully
the
in
weather
April,
is
we could do the asphalt.
Did we
right.
consider any revenue from usage of the center?
We did not.
Okay.
Not at this time, because
I
we're
don't
not
even
certain
know
exactly
do
how.
we even know how we're using it?
There have been, our Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Committee has been putting together some programming. The Senior Center has been considering some programming of what's going to be there. There's a suggestion been made, and we recently took a tour over there. It's worth, I think, the Board of Selectmen taking a look to see exactly what's there. It
That'd be
certainly
nice.
has an opportunity to be as John mentioned, a hub for community activity, which is the reason I think some of these numbers are a little bit low in terms of what we would use, considering that the usage would be there. So, yeah, there's the general feeling, and I feel very strongly about this. I felt very strongly about this last year when we were just starting to build it, is that if you don't give responsibility for somebody specifically to program the building, it will be just extra space. and it will just be space that we're using without necessarily bringing a ton of value to the community. If you program it, it can be something that's a extremely valuable asset to the community in terms of programs and things of that nature. So I think what's critical is that we actually have a resource that's identifying what can be done at that facility that goes beyond just using it for space when people need it. And there's certainly every opportunity for us to do that, and some of the programs they've already mentioned are exciting. There's some good things.
It would be,
I just wanted to circle back to what you had mentioned before about building maintenance and looking at each individual building. I think, in particular to the Community and Cultural Center, as programming amps up, we may want to look at revenue generated versus expenses spent at the building, because the more programming we have, the more time we're going to be spending at the building, the more maintenance you're going to need, the more utilities you may have. So we want to make sure we're coming out, that we're bringing in some revenue and bringing value to the community. So in that respect, I think it's helpful to break out what those maintenance costs were, but I would suggest perhaps doing that as an exercise so we know, but leaving Brad's department whole, so he's not dipping into different departments to pay his people, like everything is in his line items. But I think as an exercise in looking at the balance sheet for that particular center, I think that's a good exercise too.
I actually made a note to, that's an excellent idea to, we can go through Brad's budget and just identify by building what his costs are in overtime, just so you get a flavor for.
It's more of a
without breaking it out accounting wise, but a report we could certainly get without.
Well, it's good for him to have the flexibility that he uses to deploy janitors as needed, but we need to know holistically.
Well, and I would make the perhaps controversial statement that I think we need to do that for maintenance of all the buildings, and that may include Beecher as a concept. I think that for scheduling purposes, I think that the Board of Selectmen should consider all the scheduling in town, and so perhaps that's another thing that you will combine. We've got a lot of scheduling going on in town. I believe we have a software package that could be used for calendaring for the whole town, but I think we also have it in each individual budget, so if we can combine it all together. And so I actually 100% agree, we need a body to be controlling what's going on in the community center, the CCC. But I think it has to be, I think that it would behoove the Board of Selectmen to look at, are there, just as with Brad, it's in his budget, but it's all these different buildings, perhaps from a scheduling, perhaps from a control thing, you can do the same thing for.
We've looked at centralizing control in terms of what you're talking about with software through recreation, which is what we're doing now, because they have the software that allows us to do that. And so all, with the exception of a little bit being done by the library, everything else is scheduled. If you're using the cafe, or if you're using the library room, or if you're using the, different places, that's just an on-demand system for coordination and for scheduling, for coordination and organization. What I'm talking about is actually developing programs, developing things that.
And I agree with you. I mean, we've talked about that. I agree with you that we need someone to develop it, but I think, and I don't know, I'm going to leave it up to the Board of Selectmen. It's not a Board of Finance question, is to say, library is working on developing programs. Rec is working on developing programs. Seniors are working on developing programs. Teens are working on developing programs. Is there a way to centralize some of that?
There is. There is.
I don't want to say too much more.
I can't wait to talk to you about it.
Tom and Mika, we've had this conversation, or the previous board had this conversation in terms of committees. We have committees are meant to meet a specific charge, usually to meet a temporary need. We have a lot of committees that haven't been re-looked at since their establishment that have some overlapping charges, even with some commissions. So you mentioned you've been engaging the DEI committee. That was on our list. There's another committee with a very similar charge that we mentioned in the last term.
There's a community committee.
I think we need, just adding to that trends in other areas of our governance, and I think I think one can complement the other.
And just from a sort of a economy of scale, I know in the past, Board of Selectmen have looked into, are there places that we can combine efforts and therefore do better? That's all. I mean, as a Board of Finance member, that's as much as I'm gonna say, because that's in the realm of Board of Selectmen.
Generally, it's, in my mind, it's more oversight than necessarily, you have to have a resource who's responsible for it.
Right.
If you have the resources responsible for it, there's a lot you can do, and from that perspective. So, in that, regardless of, like you said, there's little silos of different programming that's going on, having somebody who has an umbrella oversight on all of it, that's how you can kind of bring it together and start organizing it in such a way as there's not a lot of overlap, and scheduling becomes a lot easier, so you're not conflicting, because that's one of the things we're running across now, is library has a program at the same time that senior center does. So some people pick and choose where they go, so, but there is, when the selectman's office is on the agenda, start going over some of the thought process and some of the ideas we have for addressing some of what we're talking about.
So Tony, just to back up to, I think, the original question, you'll have a better sense of funds available to furnish, et cetera,
Right.
in April? Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Or May?
Well, actually, probably closer to February.
And so
I
this
don't
would,
anticipate there's going to be any change orders for the exterior work.
and so when are we anticipating the grand opening, or like
Late
really
spring.
using?
Late spring.
So it'll be about 6 months of this budgeted period.
And I am looking for additional dollars for furnishings, because there's not a lot of
Yeah, there's
dollars
not a lot. There's not gonna be a lot
allocated
left.
for that, and there's
Right.
just not a lot you're gonna be able to do, so we're looking at the used markets, and we're getting creative in terms of where we're finding things, but we're probably gonna need more money to,
I mean, Earth Day
Furnish it
could be a
appropriately.
good complement to that.
so, it's possible. It's possible. It just that's gonna depend on the outside work, really.
Yeah.
And it might be, you're gonna try to grow grass around that time, so, I don't know. that you
Particularly the
would-
paving.
and
I
the
just
paving.
mean people, we could have an Earth Day, like people get rid of a lot of stuff during Earth Day. Yes,
That's what we're looking
yeah.
at that on a more, so that the stuff matches, you know what I mean?
I
But
mean,
there's companies that
listen.
do exactly that. They
Yeah.
provide you used, so you're buying it on a fraction of a dollar.
Okay.
EMS. EMS is, there's the part-time clerical for a clerk that is at the meetings. There is the contract with AMR, which we which you just approved. There is we're in MedCom, which is our regional emergency dispatch, which provides regional medical dispatch in case of a mass casualty, and other items, ambulance coordination amongst others.
Is that what used to be called CMed?
Correct, yes. It's sort of organized through the COG.
It goes beyond the COG. At least it used to. It used to go into a little further, but it's based in New Haven.
Right.
It
Correct.
has its own board.
Correct.
Like the
Yep.
COG has a board.
Yep.
We are somewhat unusual as a town that we have our own dispatch system for police and emergency, but 25 years ago there was value to having both, but I don't know about now.
Something that the COG is very much engaged at this point in time in terms of looking at regionalization. There's a lot more than you might think in terms of the communities that have their own dispatch, police dispatch. And COG is looking at right now what we can do about regionalizing.
Yeah, 25 years ago, the sentiment in town was very much we wanted our own.
Everybody, yeah.
Not surprisingly in Woodbridge, but the sense was that.
It would, yeah, we weren't alone though.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many popped up as a result of everybody wanting to do their own thing.
Yeah, so that has changed because it used to be more reliant on.
And can I just ask a generalized question? Because a number of these budget items, we have, the part-time clerical for commissions and stuff. And I just wondered is there
A better way?
Well, I can be blunt, I can be blunt and say, you know, how do we decide which commissions get paid clerical staff for minutes and which don't?
If you're
And-
following
Good question.
generally the way the commission works, they should generally select a secretary who takes their minutes and works on their budgets. We have a volunteer system for years, and I know it was during my time with previously, it became very clear that wasn't working very well. We weren't getting minutes, we weren't getting agendas, and by law, we need to have those. So it was really a result of having to make certain that we adhere to the statutes in a timely fashion, that we started supplying staff. So now there are still some commissions who efficiently and effectively do their own minutes and agendas, and and most of them, the bigger ones in particular, do not. And they're very hard, because those minutes take a lot of time.
Plus, in some cases, a lot of cases, the bigger departments have staff that take the minutes.
I wasn't,
Yeah, so
I was just
No,
curious
it's
as how
a
it
good,
works. And
we've been, believe me, we've looked at it to see
Sure.
if there's other ways we can do it, but in order to assure we're doing what we need to do, that's right now, that's our option.
Okay.
And what we're looking at, as a matter of fact, one of the other things, as I said, is potentially along the lines of what you mentioned in regards to when we were talking to Brad about night work, to see if we can, rather than paying overtime, which it does entail,
Right.
see if we can hire somebody who, that's
job
their
it is.
hours.
That's just
That's
their
their
job.
hours.
Yes,
Right.
You know what I
that's
mean, that
great.
type of thing there. So that's what we're looking at this point in time, and one of the things that you'll see as a recommendation.
okay. And the Board of Selectmen.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Correct.
I just want, because there's some in these other budgets, so are we going to roll it up, or are we going to?
Yeah.
I'll eagerly wait and see.
And we may not be able to address it all because of timing, you know, when things happen, but we're gonna see what we can do about
Great.
optimizing.
So I have a question. Do we get the Amity budget for Thursday? Have we received it yet?
No. I've received this summary, this very limited summary, but I have not received the budget document.
So,
Can we try to get it?
Maybe we should tell them
Do
they're
they-
coming at 8 o'clock instead. Maybe
yeah.
that'll motivate them.
Or they get bumped to a different week. I mean, we have to.
There might be the
review it.
possibility too.
You can make a call tomorrow.
Yep.
And tell them that we need the document for you to review it before Thursday night.
Can we?
It's a lot to
I know
review.
it's a lot, it's a lot
Yeah,
to
I mean-
review.
It's almost already too late.
Yeah, I know, and they're already, they've got their presentation, but we've normally got it sooner than this. Am I
Well,
right?
let's call them tomorrow, Karen, and see if
Okay.
maybe they're open to doing it another time if we have to, see what we can do, Tony, with regard to scheduling.
Can
I
I
know
just
it's
ask if
difficult
we,
because they're
if
so
we have
long.
He doesn't like
consensus?
that.
No, they're long, they're
Yeah.
long, so you really have to,
Can I just ask for, maybe we want to make a consensus about how much time we want ahead of time to review it? And,
it's kind of hard to say that now that.
well, we can,
scheduled
I'm
for
just saying it, but I'm
Thursday,
just saying that if they're amenable to a rescheduling, I don't want the same thing
Well-
to happen again.
Well, the other option is we have February 3rd as a contingency. We could say that we're just gonna do a shorter Thursday
We might be able to-
and do February 3rd as well for Amity.
We might be able to move some items around on the 29th.
Let's talk to them tomorrow and see what they can do. Yeah, let's talk to them tomorrow and see what
But
they
again,
can
how
do.
much time
If
does
they don't-
people
if they
want
don't
to
come in
review?
on Thursday, we can move some of the 29th to Thursday.
Yeah.
And put them on.
Basically, after the fire commission, the rest of those are
Our-
us,
ours, yeah.
or mine, yeah.
Yeah,
But we have to make sure they have the resources to be here. So
Yeah, right.
let's talk to them.
okay.
But how much time do we want?
There's only tomorrow at this point.
Well, I mean, I'm in, some of us are in a unique situation. If they get it to me tomorrow, I'll have enough time. But others of us won't have enough time, and I don't think it's fair to,
Well, I'm in your situation, so.
yeah. So, I mean, for the people who have other obligations.
I would say if we can swap it to next week.
Yeah, let's.
But again,
move to the 29th.
I think it's fine to swap it to next week. I'm
Then
just
we
trying to
have
say,
to
when
wait-
do you want it?
Yeah, so if they were to give it to us as if it were due for Thursday, if it's swapped to next week, then at least we have the weekend to look at it.
That's
That's,
what we would want it by the end of the week, I agree with you.
yeah, I think we'd want it before the end of.
That's all I'm asking, so don't
Before
just
the
swap
end
them.
of
Good,
business
good
day
point.
Friday, before, yeah.
We'll talk to them.
Good question. Thank you.
Assuming it's in by
Are we,
by the end of business day.
can I make a motion to adjourn? No?
Perfect.
Yes? Well, at least for Board of Selectmen,
Hopefully
I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
second.
Motion to
We have to do
adjourn.
the same
We're
thing for the Board
adjourning
of,
Board of Selectmen.
Make a motion and Andrea second.
and how about the Board of Finance? I move that we adjourn.
Finance?
Yeah, we're out.